Gonna listen to some ghost stories, eh?
From the Southeast Asian capital city of the Philippine Islands, Manila, I bid you all good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the annual Ghost to Ghost program. No guests, just you all. It's your opportunity to tell what you consider to be a very, very scary, very real ghost story. Now, I've got a copy of Merriam-Webster's Collegiate Dictionary here, and I took a look at it just for fun before airtime, and it says ghost. One, this is very, very interesting. Definition one is the seat of life or intelligence. Check that out. The first definition, the seat of life or intelligence, soul, if you will. Two, a disembodied soul, the soul of a dead person believed to be an inhabitant of the unseen world or to appear to the living in bodily likeness. Three, spirit, demon, but it's one that I really like. One, the seat of life or intelligence. Comes from the big Collegiate Dictionary. Really big one. So tonight is going to be your opportunity. If you know the numbers, you're welcome to begin lining up now. But I must warn you, we have a tough screener. Tom Danheiser is screening tonight. He will want to hear a little bit of your story and know that it fits in, that it's going to be a good one. Spirit attacks, entity attacks. Oh, I love those. Ghost stories that have kind of a catch, a gotcha at the end of them. I love those too. And of course I have received, as requested, some by email, for example, Art. My sister inherited my mother and my aunt's psychic abilities. My sister was asked to come to a house in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, a house that's over 100 years old, to smudge it. Now, I'm not familiar with the term smudge, but I guess I have an idea, a small idea. A family had recently bought it, and after they moved there, they began to experience strange activities. As my sister walked through the house, blessing it and smudging it as she went, she continued through the house into the dirt basement. When she walked into the basement area with 4 residents and her son, she suddenly threw up her arms and gasped. This stunned everybody. What she was experiencing was a long, skinny rifle in her face. She thought she was about to be shot. When she realized that, in fact, she was seeing a vision, she turned to her right, and there huddled together were 2 young Confederate soldiers with so much fear on their face that she started to pray for them, told them to go to the light. They'd been there for a long time. They'd be all right. She said the evil she felt was absolutely indescribable. Even though the residents told her there was some improvement after the smudging, they wanted to return for additional smudging. The impact of the evil presence and the fear of the young soldiers prevented her from returning to this residence for any additional smudgings. In fact, she tears up to this day and cannot discuss the impact of the vision without crying. The owners of the house, of course, abandoned the house a few months later and moved back to their old neighborhood in Maryland. This I can assure you, is a true story. Or this. Art, a few weeks ago, my wife and I were driving about 100 miles to visit my family. While on the interstate, we came to a complete stop due to an accident up ahead. As we sat there, it became apparent that this was going to take quite a while, quite some time. So we turned around through the medium. Have you ever done that? Went back to the next exit, went around the wreck via country roads. Well, when we found the next on-ramp just past the wreck, we started to get on the interstate and continue our trip. As we slowed down to look at the wreck from the bridge, we all do that, don't we? I saw a lady walking up the off-ramp. That's up the off-ramp, folks. Our eyes met for a moment, and for some reason I got a very strange feeling from this lady. She just sort of stared right through me with the most bewildered and confused expression seen. Well, a few days later, I was reading the local paper, and I just about had a heart attack. Her picture was there in the obits as one of the people killed in that wreck. Funny thing is, just after I saw her walking there, deep, deep down, somewhere inside of me, I already knew. But the unbelieving side of me simply dismissed it as fantasy. Guess not, huh? Or this art
Clickety-clack, clickety-clack.
SWL, ham, and coast fan. That means shortwave listener. Thought about telling you about this one for some time, so here goes. Back in 1978, I was driving out in a secluded rural area sometime after midnight on a date with a young lady. We parked on a deserted country road, talking and enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, of
when
course.
we noticed all the dogs and coyotes in the area were howling like crazy, so much so that we were a bit spooked at this point, and it was well past the time that she was supposed to be home. I started out of there, driving her on home, which was nearby, well out in the boonies. We approached her house from the long way round, as she didn't really want to go home yet. But I was anxious to get her home, lest we both get in hot water with her parents. Anyway, we were rolling slowly toward her house, and we approached an old church. It was about an 1/8 mile from her house. It was such an old church that it had a graveyard in the back of it, as was practiced years ago. Remember that? Anyway, my date suddenly said, "Look at that!" I looked, and I saw what appeared to be a woman crossing on foot from the old church across the road in front of our path. So I slowed the car to a near stop, and the, in quotes, woman crossed the road, probably not more than 50 feet in front of the car. But in the headlights, I could see it was a woman in a nightgown and nightcap of the old style, but she was floating about 2 feet off the ground and had no legs. I could also see that her eyes were just dark holes, no eyes visible. She never looked at us, but just stared straight ahead.
That's a good way to start
My
it.
date was totally freaking out by now. I was so astounded, this part grabs me, that I stopped the car and popped the door open, thinking I would jump out and get a closer look at this thing. But my date, having none of it, screamed at me to get us the hell out of there. The woman continued on across the road, passing right through rows of vines that grew parallel to the road. My girlfriend was just about hysterical at this point, made me promise to sit outside her house for a while, make sure nothing was around. That was the most fantastic thing I've ever seen. And believe me, Art, an absolutely true story. Now, I have many of these, and I'll kind of spread them around as we move through Halloween night. Now, listen, my Hamcam photo is in the middle of the page, coast-to-coastam.com. It was kind of weird. It went up there, and the one I had put up there indeed went up there, and then I guess I got some other server, and I got an old picture. But I'm sure most of you are going to get the correct one. Now, many of you may have seen this before, but to me, it's a blowaway. And it was years ago. I think I posted this some years ago. I've always thought it was one of the top 3 ghost photographs ever taken by anybody. This particular one, obviously the target of the photograph was a young lady, and that's one thing I always look for. You know, it's not like people are just randomly taking pictures and happen to catch ghosts. You know, something like that might be faked. This was not a random photograph. It was a little girl, somebody taking a picture of a little girl, but, oh my God. In the foreground, in front of this young lady, there is this form of a being. Well, it's somewhat
crispy. No, I can see.
But it's pretty awful. I mean, you can see sort of arms, you can see a head, you can see a body, you can see legs, and you can see some kind of tail, and it's, you know, somewhat translucent. It's really pretty freaky. So that's my little offering for the night. You may have seen this one before, but it's definitely, oh, definitely one of the better ones. All right, so again, tonight will be nothing but all of you. Now, again, we've got a tough screener, so what I want are tough, scary, well-told, gotcha kind of ghost stories. Now, I don't rule out, as I mentioned, entity attacks. There's something very, very frightening about being grabbed by something, or touched by something, or in some way manipulated physically by something. Actually, it's completely awful. Now, for the occasion, though outside the Philippine sunshine is bright and clear today, and the weather good, I have darkened down my little cubicle, my little area where I do this program.
Actually, hold on.
Give me the feel, the exact feel that I want for Halloween, which is what I've got right now. So in a moment, we're going to turn to all of you, and we're going to begin sampling
I'm just going to turn on the mic
what
here.
is in the night across North America. Stay right where you are. Rob in Cedar Rapids, Iowa says, since when does Art Bell use call screeners? Rolf. Well, Rob, always in Halloween. And frankly, since I've been over here in Southeast Asia, it's been an easier way to go. And particularly on Halloween, when I want to make sure I get the very best of what's to be told out there. You see, I guess until you've experienced the reality of ghosts, you're fully entitled to go harumph or anything else you want to do, or I don't believe, and I don't blame you. But once you've experienced something, well, then it's never as easy again. You can't join the skeptics, you can't join the doubters, because you have seen yourself. So the very best you can do is sort of perhaps avoid the conversation or even the subject, so that you don't have to talk about what you've seen. All right, let us begin. Let's go to the wild card line and say hello, Jack in Miami, Florida. You are on the air.
At a Halloween party last year at a frat house on a college campus. It was very Wicca and occult oriented, the party. Mm-hmm. I was only there because of the girl. I wasn't interested in any of that at the time. Something that happened there did pique my interest in it. Basically, I was just downstairs, and someone came to the top of the stairs and asked if there was a Jack here. And I was like, that's my name. Right. The guy said, would you come upstairs real quick, because the board keeps asking for me, or asking for you.
The board?
Yeah, they said the board. And I didn't even know what they meant by it, but I wasn't really having any fun at all.
We're talking Ouija here.
We're talking Ouija board. So I went upstairs. And when I got upstairs, I walked in the room, and the three people around it, were reading it, and it said, I'm okay. And I asked them, I'm like, well, what's okay? Was it talking to me? But, I was just asking questions. I was like, what is that saying? What's okay? They said they didn't know. And the one guy who did seem to know what was going on concerning all that said that the spirit that was talking then was different than the one that was asking for me. But that before, it was very insistent to them that it spoke to Jack, and no one knew who I was because I wasn't in that group. I was just there because of the girl. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, this is why it's kind of hard for me to tell a story, but the next day I got a call from my mom, and it turned out that my dad passed away the night before at around the same time that I was at the party.
Jack, there is something to this, and I'm going to tell you, buddy, there's a kind of a window. Some ghosts perhaps can continue to haunt for years or be around for years, but there is, after somebody passes, a short window of hours, days, maybe as long as 3 weeks, according to some religions, when spirits can very easily make contact, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's what I
And so that was your dad.
Yeah, it got me into the show when I started researching it, so that's a good thing, too.
Did it, I'm curious, did it comfort you, Jack?
Well, it confused me, really. I had to really wonder, you know, if that was him. Doing a little more research, I think it was him. It did. Now that I know that he just, you know, he did want me to know that he was okay, even though at the time I had no idea what or who it was.
Boy, you know, in retrospect, what an opportunity to ask about the nature of the other side. If only, you know, the same
still not to get on
spirit had
there.
been there. But maybe that's something we are just not to know, Jack, until we get there ourselves.
Possibly.
Take care, buddy, and thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I want.
Poor guy, man. I can tell he
Ouija
misses his
boards.
dad. Ah, shit.
A number of years ago, somebody, and I'm not going to finish this story, so don't hound me to do it. But somebody sent me what had to be truly an ancient Ouija board. Really ancient. I mean, this thing looked like, you know, like it had been around since the 1800s or something. There was no explanation with it. There was no little letter with it, or, hey, Art, I thought you'd like... A number of you may recall, I think we had a quick interrupt there. A number of you may recall that I had this Ouija board, and something truly awful occurred. And I mean something truly awful occurred. Something so awful that I will not talk about it here on the air. Suffice to say that the Ouija board was dealt with by Ramona and myself in a manner that she understood much better than I did. But my God, that scared me. I mean, it really scared me, folks. And I don't scare that easily, but that incident, what happened with that doggone Ouija board, was really frightening. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Ghost to Ghost AM 2006.
Thank you, Art. Okay, screener liked to call mine a toy from the other side.
A toy?
A toy from the other side. That's what he said. A toy from the other side. I'll call it that. But what happened was, I've been around spirits, ghosts, all my life, since I was 2. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. One that always
Some of them are sexy. Some of them will fuck you. Like, oh shit, okay.
Would always, I'd go to sleep.
What?
And
Why do I always gotta go straight there? What the fuck are all
burning
that?
smell would fill the room, and it was the type like out in a forest, burning trees or burning wood, and it would wake me up, and of course I'd flash to some
Fucking
place
backspin.
and see if everything was safe. And then one night, because one night it happened, and it all happened so fast that apparently my spirit was out of my body while I was asleep and doing what they're doing.
No,
But I
yeah.
woke up so fast, and
Fuck
I
yeah,
got
man.
fire, and I flashed from my bed.
That was the right read. I
And
just
I
didn't think it
didn't
was
kill
gonna
myself or anything, and I crashed right into him.
Oh my God.
Right into him. He was on the corner of my bed. On the corner of my bed.
You can tell she's telling the truth, though.
And we collided into each other. And because I had just woken up and in a real tranquil state, I could tell his features, his eyes, and a mouth. You could just see, because it is energy, just open wide. And I scared the heck out of him. And I scared, and of course, I was just really, I don't know what. But in the moment that quickly happened, he came back up, and I was still trying to come back or get awake or whatever. And I knew mental telepathy-wise, he showed me a toy. He had a toy. He was saying to me, "This is my toy." because we had this meeting, and I looked at it, and I'm an artist, and I can describe what I saw. And afterwards you can ask me what I saw, this toy from the other side. But I was so irritated I had to get to this fire. So I just said, get out of my way. And I ran to the kitchen, but I realized my spirit wasn't in my body, and I couldn't catch up with myself. I went forward, and I fell into the kitchen.
Diane?
Yeah.
Hold the story right there. We've got to take a break here at the bottom
doing
of
a really
the
good
hour.
job.
This is Ghost to Ghost AM. Ghost to Ghost AM, indeed. A special liner from Ross Mitchell, the voice from Down Under. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it may be, wherever you are across most of the Americas. It's, of course, Halloween. Of course, across all of the Americas. I suppose not the Eastern time zones. It may have clicked over. But what we're doing all night long is nothing but stories from all of you. Nothing but the very best. If you have a very excellent ghost story, I mean, grab you by the short, the shorts, and just tug, you know, that kind of ghost story, then we want to hear from you. Those are the numbers. Now, there is going to be one additional way that you can get your story on the air, because we realize the phone lines are jammed. So if you have something totally beyond excellent, Tom Danheiser, the screener for this night, and a very tough screener he is, would be happy to peruse the Fast Blasts. And what you can do is go to Fast Blast and just put a little tiny nugget and say, Tom, this one is really, really good. And then supply your telephone number. And if Tom has time, he will indeed call you. So, in other words, calling in is not your only possible avenue to getting in. Since we're so jammed on the lines, we'll add Fast Blast. Just put a little tiny nugget of information trying to tempt Tom into calling you about, you know, something about how good your ghost story is. And then put your area code and phone number there. And if you're lucky, if Tom is tempted, he will call you. Your phone will ring, and before you know it, you will be on the air. This is Ghost to Ghost AM.
Oh my goodness, I don't know if I... Oh, whatever. I thought it went left at least. Whew. Gonna make it.
The Philippines are absolutely cell phone crazy. I mean, they are cell phone crazy. We've got a young lady telling us about a toy. Well, I just got a new toy. It's a P990i, a new Sony cell phone. It's really cool. It allows you to do video calls back and forth. Oh my God, it's cool. Also, Wi-Fi connections to the internet. You can send email. It's kind of it's a smartphone combo PDA phone, and it just was everything you can possibly imagine, and then more. I'm still learning about it days later. So that's my new toy. Back now to Diane's toy. Diane?
Okay, so
okay, that sounds a little weird. What kind of toy you got, Diane?
And I was going towards the kitchen, and
yuck.
it was if I
fucking yuck.
was trying to get there with no legs, and I could feel behind me something trying to get in me, trying to get in me, and I fell to my knees in my kitchen, and then I felt entered, and I just felt it was my spirit, and all this had happened with my spirit out of my body and the conscious, and now I realize some things about this whole thing, what happens when we are asleep. So I was able to pick myself up off the floor and go back into the room, and of course the smell and everything, as usual, is totally gone. But the toy, okay, I told you I'm an artist, so what the toy looked like, he held it from behind. I could tell he was maneuvering it from behind for me and holding it up in front of me. I can best just say in Star Wars, the very first Star Wars, not the little robot, but the companion of the little robot,
Yes.
D2, or what was his name?
Well, it was R2-D2. That was a little one. And then 3CPO, I believe.
Yeah, it was the taller one.
That's
okay,
right.
This is what it looked like, but I don't know what it's called when scientists work with their calculus and you see all these lines crossed and all that stuff.
Oh shit! It almost made it.
Entirely the toy looked like that figure, but was of all these lines, dimensions and everything crossed.
I have two questions for you. You said that you woke up in a start, and really quickly, you know, maybe these entities, Diane, depend on the fact that you're sort of in sleep and sort of coming out slowly of sleep, and so they can normally, quickly, easily get away before you're awake enough to know what was even there.
Absolutely.
That's comment one. Comment two, you said some good, some bad. Now, when you say good and bad, do you mean angelic versus evil?
Yes, because I have my picture of one that was taken that was over me, and she's beautiful. She's just a beautiful, beautiful. It's in color. She's leaning right down over my
Well, there
head.
you have it. Then some. Thank you very much, Diane. Some, as you might imagine, as in life, as in death, there's always an opposite. I guess you cannot define good. You cannot know good unless there is bad, unless there is evil, right? It has to be there, perhaps even on the other side. Certainly the stories would seem to verify that. Again, if you have a really good ghost story, don't be afraid.
Hey, Leno, what's up, brother?
Sentence about it on Fast Blast.
I'm not even joking, man. I was thinking about you yesterday and today. Wondering what you're up to.
Mean Tom may call you.
I don't really reach out to people with messaging and shit.
Ghost AM.
Not even the people I've known for 30 years. So.
Of Durango.
Hello,
Hope all is well, brother.
About 20 years ago, when I was in college,
Oh, fuck yeah.
I rented a
Oh
room
shit,
in
did he die?
an old 100-year-old house.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was George Norrie that took over from. Art Bell's passed away, man. Shit.
It was an old dusty brick color, dark
Well,
red,
his wife passed away too, so
color,
it's kind of
with a black
like
roof.
he believed that he was
And
going to be with her when he
it
died.
was
So
a house because
whatever.
It had these turrets and large gables and balconies.
He's awesome, man.
That sort of thing. It was built in the late 1800s by a rich man. It later turned into the first hospital Durango ever had.
I lived in a home just like it, huh?
Have you?
Shit, yeah. I guess I forgot about that. That's awesome, man. Congratulations on the place, man.
Very old house with 32 rooms.
Wow.
Good shit. Good
And
shit.
it was a house that had secret passages in it. It was used, you know, as part of the slaves, you know, to get
I was just thinking we got to get a DayZ reunion one of these days. Obviously, it's going to come eventually. It'll be kind of funny.
Well, this house had fallen into disrepair, and then in the 70s, a couple had bought it and refurbished it. They did the whole bottom part for themselves, but they kept the old operating table, and it came down from the ceiling on pulleys, and it was their living room conversation piece. Well,
Just same old thing, man. Just
of course, you move in, and all of the other college students are
doing the same
more
old
than
shit.
willing
Just
tell
trying to
you
figure out what the fuck
what
I'm
your
gonna.
room was used
I
for.
don't know. I'm just kind of just. I'm saving up for
I was
a
up
gaming
on the
PC or
third
whatever.
floor in the very back room.
I'm helping a friend do
And they said,
some
"Oh,
renovations
I
and
would
shit,
wanna be in
and
that room."
I'm able to
And I
put
said,
some money
"Why?"
to the side to get a PC. I'm just trying
Because
to
that's where they kept the mental
do
patients.
better
It was
streams, I guess. You know,
farthest from
better
the front
quality.
door. So I
And then
had,
just
I
still
lived
use
on
console
Indian
too, but
reservations a lot, and I had friends,
Ah, fuck.
and I asked them what to do. Protect the room. You
it was
do
either
this,
that or buy some
you get
shitty
it
beat up
better,
car. So I was like, no, fuck it. I'd rather just invest in that and take the bus to work where, or just do whatever I can to get to work. You know.
One night, I was laying in bed.
Oh no.
And I woke up in the middle of the night, and over to the right of me were these three, you could call them shadow people, but I could tell that they were...
It's awesome to hear from you though, man.
within a
Shit.
small circle, and they couldn't get out, and I knew they couldn't harm me, but they just bothered me. Being
Fuck, the other day,
Say, yeah.
yeah.
10 people
One
were in here at one
was
point for
a
golf.
Short, fat sort of woman.
Other than that,
another
golf's not
was
really a
medium
popular game, man. It
sized
was always DayZ that
thin
really
woman,
brought people in.
and the third was a dark, thin man. And
Did they
all-
have substance, or were they sort of translucent?
No, they were solid black. But I didn't get the
Hey, that'd be
impression
cool,
that
man.
they were souls. I got the impression that they had been created.
And don't worry, man. I'm still listening to that. I'm just gonna pause it for a second. I'll continue that. Yeah, the PC. It's gonna run me about. I know it sounds crazy, but it's gonna cost me about $2,500. But I'm getting like an actual. I'm getting like a in the middle kind of quality, you know. I'm not getting the best or the worst. I'm just getting right in the middle. And if you think about it, money comes and goes, man. Like fucking, I can save up for this. I think I'm already up to $500, so like I just gotta save up another $2,000. I mean, I'm getting skinny as shit from not eating any food. But other than that, fucking, I'll starve to get this shit going, man. That's just how much it means to me, I guess. I don't know. It's a fun hobby of mine, you know. I like to put out content, man. It's fun. Oh, come on, baby. This could be it. Nope. Never mind. Oh, for sure, man. Well, like, you know how jumpy I am and, like, all that shit. There's a lot of fucking PC games that'll probably scare the shit out of me. So, like, I'm thinking I'll probably go the horror route still. And I still have plans of doing the VR with you, too. It's just a matter of time before you build everything back up, you know what I mean? Like, you're a true gamer at heart. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's what I was looking at the Oculus too. Like, I'm really fucking gonna invest in this shit, man. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's like, I don't know. I really don't want to say anything, but I've already had like these weird visions of people actually like laughing at the content and shit, you know. Any kind of VR game is gonna be funny. Even if I just go into a VR chat room, like, hey, you know how I am. Start talking about my cock or something. Who knows? And I'm sure everybody else is doing that too, but it's like, not like me, man. Maybe I can make my character have a bent wiener. Hey, same with you, Ladle, man. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, man, that's the route I'm going. Like, my friend's helping me get there. I don't know if it's gonna be like either 4 months or 6 months. Who knows, man? Like, fucking. But that's where I'm going. I'm gonna still like play console, but I'm gonna play a lot of like PC and then I'll save up for the Oculus too. And then put out some really fucking funny content, man, or even just like cool content, just like I might actually be pretty good at some of these games, who knows? I have the ability to catch on, learn how to play games. Especially DayZ, man. DayZ in VR? Are you fucking kidding me? That'd be awesome. Not enough, fuck. Oh, it was too much, what the hell? Yeah, it's crazy, man. I never thought about it. I thought I would be able to take the stream further with just the console alone, but I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, man. And it's not that you need it, but like it's a great way to learn the ropes, so at least get used to the camera being on you and all that shit. Because a lot of people think it's really easy just to turn on a camera, and say, honestly, it's not. But after a while, it's like you kind of forget about it. That's why I said sometimes I might even just be picking my nose and eating it and forget that we're on live, and I'll fucking pretend like I'm not actually enjoying that. Yo, clickety clack BFG. Yeah, we'll work it out, man. Fuck yeah, appreciate it. So the PC it is, man. That's the route we're going. And I'm pretty damn sure they're gonna have DayZ in VR eventually. And even if they don't, fuck it doesn't have to be in VR. Oh, nice putt. It could just be fucking whatever, just regular PC version, but it'll be awesome to actually go in there and to see all the different maps and shit. Plus, I heard a lot of the games are on Steam are a hell of a lot more cheaper. Like some games can even be like 90% off sometimes if they're independent games and shit like that or whatever, right? And you know how I like to jump around to a bunch of different games. Fuck, I'll be never bored, I guess. And this could also be a bad thing too. I'll just my fucking cock will bend even more, and I'll just never go outside. I mean, not mine. Sorry. Holy, that guy left. One cock bend fucking mentioned, and then somebody left with the stinkles. They're scared of the bend, man. Ain't nobody ready for the bend. Mend the bend, as I like to call it. Not bad. Yeah, exactly, BFG. Yeah, I was looking at that too. Really cheap games and shit, and not to say that the games are cheap themselves, like just the visuals are just beautiful, and even if you're just like exploring oh nice, even if you're just exploring some map or whatever, just looking around. I've seen a couple of beta versions already. I think you guys heard of it, like it's called the Garden of Eden, I think, or something like that, or... Oh, cool. Oh, fuck. Just think of all the ground we can cover later. I'm thinking eventually, like, try and get Ari on board, man. And just get, like, a really solid crew. It's hard, I guess, to get a PC, though. It's not easy either, but I mean, like, if you think about it, the amount of money that you spend on games for fucking console and shit, and for all these little upgrades that I do and stuff, or like even just Modern Warfare and stuff, cost me $130 like the last couple of weeks. And that was just to install the game again, just so I could play fucking multiplayer, and then when I came back, they're just cheating anyways. Clickety clack. Ah, shit. I'm actually really looking forward to DayZ role-playing servers, man. Like a lot of people just are strictly about the gunplay, but I'm about like just having fun and being in the moment. And even when you find somebody that's really, really into it, it's fucking probably like hilarious, you know? Makes the game more interesting. You have a good time. You laugh a bit more and shit. But like I said, there's no other game that gets my heart fucking racing like DayZ. It's too bad fucking stream snipers have to fuck that shit up a lot of the time, but at the end of the day, they didn't fuck up the game experience for me. Like I learned a lot fucking about that game in a short amount of time. Like we were doing like 10-hour fucking gaming sessions almost every night. Oh, I could believe it, BFG. I know you got the gunplay, clickety clack. Yeah, it'd be cool, just to run a business or whatever, just run our own fucking run our own squad, that kind of thing. If GTA RP is okay, like I'm a fan of GTA, so I'll probably check that out too. If there's like I don't know, like I guess there's gonna be hacking wherever you go, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, let's see if we can backspin this into the hole. Oh no, what the fuck? Okay, that did, oh fuck. There's the backspin. Yeah, for sure, Lidl. At least we have kill logs and all that shit. Oh, fuck BFG, that sounds awesome, man. Yeah, exactly, later, and then we can kind of like a lot of people wouldn't understand unless they play the game, right? So it'll be fun to just build like a community and just like have a random fucking shit happen, you know? We might even bump into one of these big name streamers and kick their ass, you know, or befriend them, who knows? I'm gonna smoke some drugs if that's okay. I'm gonna smoke some drugs, is that okay, BFG? Today I'm mixing crack with meth and marijuanas. I might lay up the dope soon too, who knows? Oh, excuse me. Sound like that lady from Mad TV. Stuart's mom. Oh. Oh. Stuart? Ah. Come on. Ah, what the fuck? See, it's always to the left, though. I gotta start kind of shanking it to the right. Oh, fuck yeah, Ladle, man. It's like, I'm actually kind of excited about PC. Not even just to mention, it's like, if you're cool with it, like, I have a plan to, like write a script and shit. And it's weird. I always envision just the way you play DayZ and shit, just like what your character kind of like is like in my mind. Man. He's like the enforcer. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of cool. I got an idea for him. If you wouldn't mind doing some lines down the road. and do like a fucking a good DayZ movie and get like fucking 500,000 hits. Let's go for that hit. Like I wouldn't put it out. I would put like over at least fucking 10 to 15 hours into it, maybe more. I'm just straight up editing. Maybe even longer. Fucking knows. And the better I get at it, then just the quicker I become at editing and still put out good shit at the same time and just at a faster rate and boom, 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 boom. Just I'll be fucking pumping out the content like there ain't no, like some fat bitch is eating at a hot dog contest, you know? That's all I got. I don't know. I didn't have anything else. Instead, I insulted a large lady for no reason. But she doesn't exist in my mind, so. I had a large lesbian auntie. That counts. And I was cool with her. Always the big ones that are lesbians. Those ones or the other ones that look like they got dyed blonde hair and it's short and spiky. And they got they got like one of those weird names that it's like it could be a guy or a girl's name, you know? Like Jerry, like Jerry could be a guy or a girl. Depending on how you spell it, right? If you spell it with a G, then that could be a female. If you spell it with a J, that could be a guy. Yo, man, later. Oh, for sure, later. I'm thinking like you know those cheesy DayZ videos that I'm pretty sure you clicked on the same crap that I have probably, and I'm expecting like a cool DayZ movie, and it's just pretty much gameplay with nothing really to it. You know what I mean? And if it was a movie, it's just like it's kind of half-assed, and it looked like somebody just kind of wanted to put out something just to get hits or whatever. And it's okay, but it's like you should never really rush shit like that. And yeah, even with the suicide thing, shit, man. Like I just put that together quickly, boom, boom, boom. Everybody came together well, you know, like it's just one of those things. It just you never know, kind of thing. Ah, fuck! I fucked this up. Not too bad though. Oh yeah, no doubt, man. This is the 4th round though. It's a championship. I started making them 4 rounds for the championships. And even then, then you can take the line and just like and then just if you want to change something about it, like we can just go back and forth about it. You know what I mean? Like you'd be like, oh well, yeah, I like this, but this would sound maybe better if I said this, and you know how it works. Like that's just how people brainstorm. What the fuck? Are we tied for? I didn't even notice. What the fuck, man? This is for the championship right here. Fuck, I'm such an idiot, man. What the hell? I'm tied with this guy right now.
No, this one looks to be heading down the runway.
Fuck, if I can get an eagle for the win, that'd be awesome. I don't even think I can make it there, though. Excuse me.
See why he's leading. That was a shot of high caliber.
That drive, he hit it so far, there's no divots in the
Holy
fairway where
shit,
he
this
hit it.
is a possibility here. Give it some more air time so it drops. Bucket right there. Oh, I don't... Fuck, I don't know about this. I don't think it's gonna bounce on. Oh, it bounced. Oh. Can I putt from there? Fuck.
And if this chip drops, he'll win the event.
Who said anything about chipping? What's he talking about? Oh wow, this is this is a tough one. I might be better off just chipping. What the fuck am I thinking here? That would be pretty stupid. It'd be an awesome putt, I guess. But holy shit, my controller. Oh, maybe too hard, you fucking idiot. No.
This would be a momentum saver here, getting this up and down.
Fuck it. That looks about right, I'm hoping. I just gotta crack it a little bit harder, I guess. Oh no, no. What the fuck is going on?
Watch the victor earn his spoils.
Oh, I lost.
For a final score of 65.
I fucking lost. What a fucking dumb cocklicker, man.
It's on a great line. And that'll bring his tournament to a close.
I think I lost because of that. Oh my fucking goodness.
Sometimes these are a tough one to take. So close to the win, but ultimately just a shot shy.
Listen,
What
you can
a
go back and
fuck.
look at a number of different shots throughout the course of the tournament, and which one will you pick is the one that you would like to have back the most. I mean, choose one, anyone.
I think I should have putted it.
Day, finishing one back, it's a respectable finish. It's beyond that. It's a great finish, but not the finish they were hoping for.
Oh
Mike Elvey,
man.
alongside
Damn.
Rich Ben, and on behalf of all the hard-working folks at the studios,
Appreciate it,
goodbye
brother.
for now.
Fuck. I thought I had that. That was actually a close smash the whole time. I'd rather have that than a blow up. That's for damn sure. Hey, look, there's an Aussie there in 7th place. Adam Scott. A bunch of fucking American bastards. He's an Irish. Irish and a Korean. Oh, Korea. His name's Song Kang from Korea. Anyways. Damn. I guess yeah, and I understand sometimes too. Like it's probably sucks to fucking to watch it, even just see me like or just seeing other people upgrade their character and shit. But in reality, I'm gonna have to do this shit all over again, man, for PC. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, true, man. If it was fucking like the whole tournament, fucking second place, first place, second place, or whatever the hell, like, he'd definitely win some endorsements. But PC's gonna fucking look beautiful, man. Like, I can only imagine 2K22 or whatever, you know. They might even come up with a like a realistic, ultra realistic golfing simulator or something, or Oculus too. You know, like they might have fixed a lot of the kinks with the where it actually feels like a smooth game. Because I don't have to feel the whole swing, but if it feels like I'm kind of swinging, then that's good enough for me to make it feel like I'm playing the game. Like I'll go buy the fucking 30-40 bucks for the golf club or whatever that plugs in or whatever the hell. Yeah, these are all championships. I don't know what the fuck's going on now. Like, this is another fucking championship. Hey, right on, Ladle, man. That's awesome, yeah. I honestly, like, I never even thought it was a possibility myself until a close friend of mine actually just said it was, right? So I was like, oh, cool, then. Excuse me. At the end of the day, like, I'm not in the big rush. I just know I'll get there eventually, and for the time being, I'm just gonna still like just try to learn more until I get there, you know. So at least when I get this machine, I'll understand it somewhat, because I honestly I don't know fuck all about computers. But I'll treat it just, I'll learn just like anything else. A lot of notes. I'll be taking a lot of notes down. Not with my phone either. Fucking the good old fucking pen and paper, baby. Get back to handwriting again. Still can get back to writing my rhymes. Let these motherfuckers know I'm back in the game. Just joking. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I'm even looking forward to just those like wingsuit flying games, you know, like a Red Bull, whatever. I plan on doing that. I don't even care if I'm just like, I think with the Oculus Rift, I'm gonna get one of those small small mechanics chairs, you know, those little round leather seats or whatever. They have like 4 wheels and they just spin around and shit, like so. And you can raise it up, or bring it down. Doesn't matter what. It depends on what you're doing. I might as well put a dent in this tournament. I really like to get a fucking hole-in-one, man. Like, yeah, excuse me. Yeah, like one of those classic things. That could be like they usually have like a red. It looks like a bar stool actually, but it just has like 4 wheels and and then you can spin all the way around on it. Do like a 360 if you had to in the game or whatever. But there's no way in hell I'd be doing it on. Well, some games I might stand, but for a lot of those games, like if I'm gaming for like 4 or 5 hours, I'm probably gonna need to sit down after a while. And then I'll just get knee pads, man. You know, like you know how floors, like whatever you call people. Ah, fuck, I'm such an idiot. Even people that just work construction, a lot of people that even paint wear those knee covers or whatever. I'll get a decent pair of knee covers, and then I'll just slide around on my knees. If I have to duck, I'll be able to drop on my knees quick or whatever. And then it's kind of cool too if you're like ducking with a gun and shit. Like it'll actually show your body. So like eventually they're gonna have it so smooth that if you're not hiding your shoulder even, like, you can get pegged off in the shoulder. And that would, like, cause damage or whatever. But right now, it looks like some troppy guy, like, hiding behind a box. Like, orange boxes and red boxes and whatever. It's not even a tree or a house or anything, but it's getting there. Pretty soon, like, you'll be in war zone, you know? That kind of thing. And moving fast, man. Once you learn those buttons, it's like you just move your hands and you press the buttons. Like you do the fucking the sliding, the running, the sprinting, whatever. After a while, it's like you go with your natural instincts and your movements. Like a lot of people are really good at movement and stuff. You can make games look really cool, man. And enjoy them for yourself at the same time, man. But I don't know. What the fuck is this? Oh, whoa, what's going on there? Based on their FedEx Cup points ranking. It's going to be tough. Long Strong said, I'm going to go out and play the best golf I can for all the guys that have bent wieners. Well, that's what I mean. Like, even just eventually, like, I have really good hand-eye coordination and stuff like that. So, like, I could probably do some neat stuff, you know, like with my imagination and just fucking movies I've seen or whatever. But I mean, like, the majority of stuff that I'll be doing is just a lot of comedy. I think most of it, and it won't even be me really making any jokes. It'll just be me, like, just laughing at people, or just like I might even walk into a chat room and just be like, start talking about my Uncle Jerry kissing me and stuff, and that might be enough just to fucking set me off laughing and shit, and then because they would give me a weird look or with their character, and I don't know. Well, let me screenshot this. I need to be proud of this. If I had any grandkids, I'd let them see my legacy after I died. Like, Grandpa was on the 2K21 PGA FedEx playoffs. Shut the fuck up, kid. Nobody gives a fuck about you loser-ass grandpa with his bent fucking cock sitting there on his couch with this shit green screen. The guy takes a piss, walks away, fucking can't even fucking shake it off properly. It's already going down his legs, the fucking loser. Hey, that's my grandpa. You stop talking like that. Hey, shut the fuck up, you little piece of garbage. I ain't fucking trying to have an argument with no stupid kid. Fuck you and your dumb toys. You spit on his fucking toys, and then that's done. I need to make a jam sandwich later for supper. Look at the fucking points, man. I'm sitting pretty up there. Starting strokes, they're going to put me at -10. I almost feel like I'm cheating here, and that's not fair. I got a huge lead over all those other bastards in the top 10 there, but... yeah, it's going to be different. I'm going to have to be careful with that shit, too, and not get too lost in VR there. And I'm going to have to up the... Well, I've seen just like VR chat rooms and shit. It's pretty funny. I shouldn't be eating this chocolate. Fuck. This is the fucking granddaddy of them all, I think. Yeah, that's cool. You can see your friends' stats too and shit. I know I got a 400. Oh, that's just at the East Lake Golf Club. Oh, my buddy Screws, I gotta play him too, man. Holy fuck, he's good, man. He's getting a lot of birdies. .342, no way, I gotta... That's a 38.5 foot putt? Okay, my putting game is different though than a lot of these guys. Because putting is fucking nearly impossible if you can't imagine where the ball's gonna go and just look at by looking at it, you know? That's pretty cool though. It's pretty cool. Fuck it, let's dive into it, baby. Excuse me. Oh, that's what I learned the hard way later. Even any putty game, but this game, out of any game that I've ever played, is like this has got the most realistic, but the hardest fucking putting I've ever had to do. That's why I said like I wouldn't be hitting a lot of the shots that I do hit without fucking using my imagination. Holy shit, this guy's yapping. I'll let him talk.
You're able to join us for this first round action. I'm Luke Elvey, here alongside Rich Beam as we kick off this Tour Championship. Rich, this player on the tee is currently ranked first in the FedEx Cup points list, so they're starting this tournament at 10 under. What a lovely advantage to have.
Well, it beats the chasing pack, isn't it? I'd rather start at 10 under than even par. This player's played well all year long, and so it's a deserving spot for them, isn't it? They've shown that they're so far head and shoulders above the rest. However, you have one last tournament to continue that trend. And it's
the last
easy.
one, okay.
It's not easy to maintain that when you know that the rest of the 29 players, they're gunning for one thing and one thing only, and that's your spot. So as good a position it is, it's also a very pressure-packed situation.
I want to hear a lot of the commentary,
isn't it? It's not a given, it's not a guarantee. It's a head start, if you like, but that's all it is.
Well, at least you can hear it.
Wait to see what unfolds.
As much as I hate the commentary, it's at least it adds that little bit of like, oh, okay, cool. It's kind of realistic. Oh, shit. Keep knocking the couch back. Oh, there we go. There we go. So this is for the championship for the whole fucking season. I might as well tee off, see how the golf gods are gonna treat me here. No wind? Okay. Fuck yeah.
Let's see what kind of tone he sets for himself today. The opening hole, Rich, at East Lake is not an easy one, is it?
It is not. Second shot plays straight back up the hill, a green that tilts from back to front. Two bunkers on the opening of this green, right and left, pose all sorts of problems.
Oh, does it now? Not for me though. Let's continue this lady's story.
As entities by the despair and sorrow that went on in the hospital. Have you ever heard of people creating an entity?
Yes, of course. The monster from the id. Yes, of course.
Yes, and they didn't really seem to know I was there, but they were just
Holy
so
moly!
And so this all happened rather quickly. Next, I noticed that up at ceiling level to my left were 3 white entities. These 3 were men. One kind of reminded me of an old Greek scholar.
Going with the 5-wood.
Oh no.
Aristotle, Sophocles, or something like that. Sort of a Sean Connery for people who
A
don't
little
have
off the
the
target
picture
with
in their
that one.
mind.
Look at that fucking...
Jordy Baker on that action
He was in
there.
charge. He was sort of the mentor of these other 2. The other one seemed to be a short, fat, medieval merchant type. And the other one was just a non-nondescript. He was just a young man, young athletic man. And the older fellow was sitting there. They were. Here I was with these entities, and they're saying, "Well, now in these
Stop!
situations,
Oh, this is so
blah, blah,
fake,
blah."
man. What the fuck is this shit?
They were discussing it this way, and then suddenly, the young.
No, this
athletic
is the hole that really fucks up
spirit,
everything.
And they were just.
It turns into like a mini golf course. Like,
impression
fuck
of
off,
what
you
they were.
bastards, man. This is so stupid.
But they did have
Go
arms
fuck
and
yourself
legs,
with that shit,
white
man.
light with arms and
Time
legs
now
in it.
for the 4th shot.
It dropped down on my left side, put its arm around me, and you know.
I totally forgot about this fucking hole.
White light may be good, but I still don't want anything laying down next to me and putting its arm around me.
No.
So I said, "What are you doing?" And
Oh shit.
the young man said, "I'm here to protect you." I fell asleep instantly and slept till morning.
Well, maybe perhaps again the yin and the yang, the good versus the evil.
Yes,
Maybe
I
they
had-
were protecting you from the darker entities.
Yes, that I had not cleared out. So people should clear before they protect.
All right. All right. Thank you very, very much for the story, Rose.
Thank
Oh,
you.
stay, you bastard. Oh, you better stay.
Good and bad.
Oh, you better stay. Come on, you motherfuckers. No, 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 no.
They do seem to come together, don't they? I guess they're here, and they're on the other side as well. Let's go all the way to Nebraska and say, James, you're on the air, Ghost to Ghost AM.
How are you, Art?
I'm very well, sir.
Yeah, the story I was telling Tom was about when I was probably
This is their
probably about 9 or
shot.
10 years old. I lived in a house that was an old, I would say, from what I was told when I was younger, it was an Army recovery hospital. And my brothers remember seeing when they were younger, down in the basement, people all bandaged up, reaching out to them as if to say, help me.
Yes.
And one of the other things is that when I was also younger, we lived. The house, unfortunately, is no longer there. I would have loved to gone through it nowadays to see what we could get. I always remembered having a feeling of being watched from. We were like in the center room, and then there was a room off to the right of us, off to the east, that also contained our bathroom. But I always felt like something was looking at me from the darkness.
Something probably was.
Something probably
even when we do the EVPs, you'll notice that the electronic voice phenomena, they go to prisons, they go to hospitals, they go to places where there were suicides, they go to graveyards, they go to, but especially hospitals, mental wards, that sort of place. Any place where it seems like there was a great deal of suffering, something lingers.
Exactly, and what I was telling Tom was one Saturday morning when me and my younger brother were watching Saturday morning cartoons, of course, I just glanced into the kitchen, and the way that our home was set up at the time, is that we were in the living room, then the dining room.
No, you
There
fucking
was
bastard.
basically a doorway into the kitchen. Now, right across, literally parallel with this doorway, was
Did
a
you
window
flinch?
to the outside.
That wasn't flushed.
And the sun had just come up,
Sixth shot coming up.
and I seen a woman in nurse's garb cross in front of this window. Now, the only reason I seen her is because she blocked out the light.
Not bad.
And I went in there, and
This
there was
putt coming up
nobody
is
there.
for triple bogey.
Nobody.
So whatever what was had substance, or it could not have blocked
Oh, yeah.
the light.
I mean, this
Good putt
had
there.
to have some type of substance. And it just, to talk about it now, it just kind of creeps me out. It's like,
Currently
ooh,
7
there's a
under for
shiver
the
up my
event.
spine. But I truly believe that not only...
Oh shit, late. Sorry, my bad, brother.
House somewhat
I didn't know you were there. That's why
haunted,
I thought you had to
every
leave for a
house
second or
I've lived in
whatever.
has some type
I
of
started playing
activity,
this shit again.
including the
Do
one
you,
I'm
do you
living
think
Par
it's do you
threes are
think
always
it's
fun.
you
See if you
that's
can knock it
bringing
close.
the
You already know how I feel about
You
the
know,
the
To
commentators.
be honest, every house that I have lived in has some type of activity. Even when I'm not there, everybody said that there's some strange things that
Fuck,
go
that's too
on.
bad, man. I didn't know our bell
One
died, man.
Halloween, actually, this is kind of a funny story. My brother's mother-in-law was staying
Look
with
at these
us,
fucking
and she
greens.
had a little trinket on, or not a trinket, but a little squeeze toy on her.
It's like I gotta
and
put
this
airtime
thing
on it
used
just so it
squeeze
drops.
that I love chocolate, this little chocolate mousse.
No wonder this
One
is
Halloween
this got to be the
night, that
toughest
thing went
course
off
ever.
by itself. I had no clue what it would do. I was like, whoa, it was like right across the room from me. I go over and I squeeze it, and it says, it says it's flying. I turn around, Art, and I walk back.
Oh, come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
This one needs to kick left.
And
It's too much, though.
I'm a
Fuck.
big guy,
Too much Swayze.
But that made me scream. I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
All right, James. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's too bad,
I
man.
was almost ready to imagine.
But I mean, it's
this
life. It
story
happens. It
something
just, I
other
don't know.
than I like.
I just didn't know about it.
Perhaps something like.
There's one thing I want to take off
Get
commentary though, but
hellbound.
just so I can focus on.
I don't know. The one thing you can't deny, as you listen to all of these stories, and they will line up.
At least so
throughout
they
the
won't cut
night,
into our bill.
is that they're real. These things are real. It's one of the great. This and EVP are the things that give me almost, I would say, an absolute faith that there is an existence of some sort after death. Now, some of what you're hearing is not exactly comforting regarding the nature of life after death, but
Come on, curve in, baby.
there's an interesting question for a lot of you. Given what you've heard tonight and what you will be hearing through the night, and what you've heard with EVP, if that indeed is the existence you can expect after you die, would you prefer the great nothingness? Or would you prefer, well, what you've heard? East of the Rockies?
What would you prefer, Leto?
Somewhere,
Or anybody else who's here too? Like, would you prefer complete nothingness or just for it to continue until whatever the fuck goes on after
I
that?
even got through tonight. Amazing.
I obviously want it to continue.
And my
I just got a
birthday
feeling
in
it's
2
going to be
days,
pretty
so
scary,
it's
that's
an
all.
early birthday present.
That's why I'm not really anticipating it, but at the same time I need to be brave in that moment.
And All Souls Days.
In reality, in whatever, like, you won't really have a choice, you'll have to face whatever's
I
there.
want to tell you a ghost story, of course. One appropriate thing to do.
Please.
When I was about 12 years old, I went up to Mackinac Island, which is a part of Michigan.
Oh, I know it well.
I had a great aunt and uncle that had a place up there.
R.I.P. Art Bell,
And
man.
in Florida. And, they offered us, it's a nice place to stay. Would you like to come up and stay there? And my family, it was my sister, my mother, and my dad. We all said, sure, we'd like to come up. And so we went up there one summer. Not knowing anything about the house or anything, of course. But we went up there, and as soon as I walked in the house, I felt something weird. But, you're thinking, well, no one's going to believe me, or they'll think I'm crazy if I say there's something in this house. But I've always kind of had a sense of that, And I've lived in old houses most of my life, so I've been around.
Fuck, it went slow though. I don't know how this is going to work out. Nope, never mind, fuck.
One thing that would happen was when you'd be walking up the stairway, you find yourself. It's kind of like if you're in a crowd.
Yeah, my brother's gonna give me the.
People because you can feel
He has the
there, but you don't
password
know
for
what
like
you feel.
his website,
You have
so
the
I'm
sense
gonna have
of
like
someone
just
standing there.
other shit too to listen to.
You would find yourself stepping around
A
people.
lot of paranormal shit from even some Sasquatches
and then
encounters to
kinda look
whatever,
and say,
fuck, you know,
well,
like alien
how come
encounters.
I can't see anybody?
Oh,
It's the
fuck
sense
off!
you have.
Come on.
I can feel someone there, but they're not. I don't see anyone there. But you know, that happened, and then I was watching TV in another room, and I felt someone sit down on the couch right next to me, to the point where I
Oh
looked
no,
over to
no, no,
see,
no, 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 no!
you
What am I
know,
doing here?
Who it was?
Well, to see if the cushion in the couch went down. If someone sat next to you, you'd feel that, right? Or you'd see that.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
The cushion didn't go down, but I can tell you someone sat down next to me watching TV. And so, you know, and plus you never felt alone in the house. Someone earlier said they felt that there were eyes glaring at them. That's exactly how it was. You never were alone in that house. You'd be in the bathroom and there was eyes glaring at you.
It's a part of a sense
Oh, what
that
the
we have.
fucking...
I think animals, of course, have it.
Okay, it's fucking me up on
and
purpose,
I
man.
think that we have it.
Because I got
as
the
well.
lead or whatever.
It's
Come on.
a very old ability. Many of us in the modern world have kind of blocked it out, but if it's a danger sense. You understand if somebody's near you, if somebody's stalking you, if somebody's got a rifle aimed at you. You know if somebody's in the room with you. This is Ghost to Ghost AM.
184.
Good morning. It is odd, isn't it, to listen to the average person tell these kinds of stories that otherwise would seem so unbelievable.
Come on, maybe this could be it.
But the lines are jammed. You could do this for days and days.
Wow, bounce to the right a bit,
You could do a program that would be virtually nothing but Ghost to Ghost every single night of the week. Now, that means something.
I want to start doing something like that.
That means these experiences are widespread. It means that they're right
I'm
across
sure
the
that I'm going to be the
populace,
only
right
person
across
doing it,
all
but
the demographics. Everybody, well, not everybody, but so
Our
many
Bell's a
people
good
have had one of
inspiration.
these experiences. It's kind of like the number of people who have seen UFOs. That you have to, you know, this much proof demands a verdict. That might be another way to put it, don't you think? First time caller line, you're on the air.
You're on there.
I am.
Wonderful.
Oh man, look at that
What is
double
your
bogey.
first name?
Triple bogey,
This
holy
is
cocksuck.
Pat, and I'm calling from San Antonio, Texas, listening on the big blowtorch, WOAI.
Boy, it is, too. What a
WOA?
welcome.
Nah, like as if I know.
This happened to me, true story, many years ago now. It's not a ghost story. I'd say it's more of some kind of demonic story, but here's how it goes. I was at my grandmother's house. My mom and her are cooking in the kitchen, making some kind of dinner.
Grits?
And then they give me the scraps of the meal to take out to the dog. So I step out the door, go around to the dog. We had one of those big shepherd wolf dogs. Well, he starts growling at me.
For sure, man. That'd be one of the... I enjoy it, you know. Like,
with real gentle dog. But he's growling.
unless things start getting really weird around my place, then I'll probably stop it. But
I put the food down.
you kind of invite that shit too.
Start to go back into the door.
When you, I guess, like, even just listening to this right now, like, I used to listen to it for hours, and I would...
There. My arm starts
Who knows what you're, I guess, bringing in, you know?
Yanking on it.
Some kind of spirit or
I'm right in the
whatever.
doorway. I immediately grabbed the other side of the door and wrap my legs around it.
Well, it should be all
They're
good.
trying to pull me, and I start screaming my lungs out.
Oh, listen to this guy. Scream my lungs
When I
out,
think
man.
about this happening to me.
No, there you go. I mean, I always look for the right reaction from people, and if that happened to me, that's exactly what I'd be doing, screaming and squirming. And
no.
I mean, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs.
Sure.
So,
Oh, wait, this might be alright. Hold up.
Top of the door, because it's pulling me up. So I've got my head inside
Oh, okay,
the
yeah.
door.
This wasn't hard enough.
My other arm and my other leg, I've got both my legs wrapped around the door jamb, and this thing's
Oh,
pulling me.
listen to this
My
guy's
arm's
accent.
burning. And my mom comes out out of the kitchen, and she looks at me, and she thinks I'm joking around or something, because I'm up at the top of the door, and that's all she can see. And she goes to grab me and pull me off, and when she does that, we both get yanked out the doorway. And because then she starts to realize that something's pulling on me, and what's happening?
Good Lord.
Wraps her arms around me, and she starts screaming, and my grandmother comes out. She thinks somebody's attacking us or something. So she comes running out of the kitchen with a big old butcher knife. I mean, the biggest knife she's
Oh,
got.
for sure, man. That's a great idea. Oh, yeah, for your new place, Little.
And she
There you
comes
go.
out and sees what's happening. And by this time,
I'm sure you can
going down
find
the
some
sidewalk. I mean,
wherever,
I'm
you
up
know.
in
It's
the
like
air.
a giant tug of war, huh?
Even if you have to go to the
You're in
shop, you can find some.
Exactly. I'm up in
Yeah.
I'm up in the air. I'd say my mom's by now got me by the leg.
Where do they get it by? Obviously, like
with their arms wrapped around like
by
my
a friend or
waist.
something.
You swear to me this is true.
This is the God's truth. I have nightmares about this even when I think about it.
All right.
I mean,
This guy's pure Canadian, man.
20-something years ago, and I've had all kinds of freaky things
I got a fucking nightmares, eh?
I know, but getting yanked up in the air.
This happened.
And so, how in God's name did you get down?
Well, here comes my grandmother. She comes running out, and she's got this big old knife, and sees that there's nothing there, and I'm up in the air, and by this time, there's 3 big lines starting to appear on my arm. Look like long fingers.
Right.
They literally like something, I don't know, out of Alien. I've seen all kinds of movies, and it looks like just 3 long arms, or from my wrist to my elbow. I've got these 3 long, big red marks happening down my arm.
Right.
With another one going down the backside.
You said it was hot.
And it's burning it, and I can tell you, I can still feel it to this day. It was the most. If there's a word to feel demonic, I mean, that's what I felt. It just felt like the most evilest, horriblest.
Evilest, horriblest.
So how did you get down?
Well,
Evilest, horriblest.
she's
What the fuck is he talking about?
jumping
What a
front,
fucking idiot.
swinging the knife everywhere. I mean, she's
The
just
evilest,
trying to swing it out
horriblest.
in the air, and she's
He might say most
whatever it
horrible,
could be that's
but
got me there.
horriblest. He's making up his own
But my
fucking words, this
grandmother
fucking
is
moron.
Probably 60, 70 years old.
Okay, hold on, I gotta figure out.
We knew her
shut up.
family as kind of a real religious woman, even though it might say a white witch or anything like that. And she was from Spain.
So she knew it was something invisible and evil.
Oh, this is perfect. This might be good. This might. Oh, holy fuck, never mind.
I
Holy
couldn't even tell
shit.
you to this day because I'm still busy. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. There's people coming out. I mean, there's witnesses. There was plenty of people that saw what was happening. That you really can't describe what you're seeing.
So you think she had the right words?
And she said some things and was waving the knife around, kind of making crosses with it and all this other stuff, and it let me go, and I fell to the sidewalk. And I've had nightmares about that over the years,
That is a
the rest of
nightmare.
my life. I mean,
Yeah, that. Well,
I've studied probably every. I've gotten to the point where when I do tell somebody about this, I ended by saying, that's what started my search for the third dimension, because I'm going to find this thing and kill it or kick its ass or something.
Yeah, okay.
But I know it exists. I know that there's something out there.
What a fucking idiot.
Well, you're a
the guy's
better
a
man than I
fucking
for
idiot.
trying to chase it down, whatever the hell it is. I don't think I'd be chasing after something like that. Can you
Fuck, I
imagine
wanna
actually
go
being
into
held
the
in
different
air?
dimensions and just kick its
something
cheeks
that
in,
turns
man.
you on.
Fuck, this ain't no game. No fuck with fucking whatever
Well,
the
I'm
fuck I am,
on the air.
man.
Good morning.
Holy fuck is that guy? I gotta go
Yes,
back and listen to that some other
This
time.
is Deborah. I'm up in the Gold Country in Northern California.
Hi, Deborah.
Oh.
Hi. In 1988, I had been married about 8 years.
Fuck,
to
is that
a
guy
man.
dumb? I'm gonna turn
we
this down a
lived in
bit.
Hawaii, and
Lady's voice a little loud.
he was just very charismatic. He just had a lot of confidence, and I just trusted and believed in him 100%. Anyway, this affair
She
came
ran into a
out, and
con
I was
artist
very
big time,
upset,
man. No.
and I broke up with him.
On his part.
Oh, that's why I love it, man. Like, my brother
one of
loves
my
this show,
best
too.
friends. And I was
Not even
really
just he just
upset,
loves,
and
like,
I
Coast to
had,
Coast AM as a whole.
gone to these, psychic
There's other shows, too, on the
fortune
website.
teller people.
You already
While
know
I was
you already
there,
knew all about the
he
website,
said,
too, and
your
all that.
husband, he's going to try to kill himself.
You're very,
And I got really panicked.
very
and I just
smart brother,
ran
man.
back to the house as quick as I could, and it was just a little, tiny house.
I tried to memorize shit,
screen
but
door.
it just, I don't
When
know.
I came
It's
in
hard
the
for me
screen door, he was
to
sitting in his chair,
fucking even
and
think.
I sat down on the couch and I was talking to him.
Hard for me
I
to
said,
put
"Are
on
you gonna
sandals
try to
without
kill
shitting
yourself?"
myself.
And he said, "Well, I just about did, but then
I'm
his
just joking,
friend
though.
had come over
That'll be
and
when I'm, like,
taken
72
the
or
gun
something.
from him, and he'd written a suicide note
But
and
you,
stuff.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm saying, like, you actually do know a lot of information about, like, just so many different topics, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had a fight, and I told him I was leaving, and I had been gone for the night, and then the next day I went.
That
to
just
the fortune
makes you
teller.
even more interesting, man. Like, that's why I like my buddy Yankee, man.
Talking
Like,
to him, I said, I know
he's unique in his own way too, you know.
Any energy. He was
anybody that
flat.
can bring
I mean,
like
I
a different
say
kind
he
of
was
like flavor
like
is cool.
cardboard, like dry cardboard.
At least
it was so bizarre
don't
to
know.
see him like that.
See the world
And
for what it
he
really
was
is. Like.
So dull, and I thought this strange
This might be good
thing
right
about
here.
him, and in that instant,
Come on, baby,
the
curve, curve,
screen
curve,
door
curve, curve,
kind
curve,
of
curve.
like, not blew open a lot, but just kind of shook open a little bit.
Are you sort of saying he wasn't there?
Yeah, and I found out.
Oh yeah, for sure, Eric, man. Yeah.
He explained something to me a little later, but yeah, it was like he really
Just
wasn't
text me
there,
the time.
you know,
I'm sorry I
and
didn't see the
all of a sudden,
message.
The screen door shook.
What do you want to do or whatever?
Sit and watch TV, and the TV was on all the time.
I'm just bidding out.
Anyway, the TV was on, but it was kind of turned down low, and all of a sudden, when the screen door shook, I could feel this force. It was like an electrical force that hit the TV set, and this was like in a small triangle of space, you know, maybe about 15 feet.
Come on, baby, 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 come on, baby.
You know, going up and down where you couldn't see the picture, and it was all fuzzy and snowy. And I was trying to listen to him. He was talking so quietly. But then all of a sudden, I'm like, what is going on with the TV?
Yeah,
right?
that sounds good, man.
And then
I'm down for that.
The TV stopped, you know, shaking like that, the screen, and I felt something come in my body.
I'll set my alarm for 9:30.
Wow! I mean, I just, my whole inside.
Maybe even 9. I'll just force myself into the shower just to wake up
and it was
and
like moving inside.
feel good
me.
for
I'm
the
like,
day.
What is that? And I looked at him. I said, "Is that you? What the heck's going on?" You know. And then he just, you know, scooted forward and said, "Give me your hands." And so he took both of my hands, and
okay, right on.
some energy was running through my body. And it took, I guess, maybe about a minute, and then all of a sudden,
sounds like a plan. Clickety clack.
And he said, you know, I had closed myself off, you know, and I just opened myself up to you again, and 'cause I guess he knew stuff I didn't really know. But then he was like he was back to normal.
Oh no, I'm good, man. Yeah, thank you.
Do you think he took life energy from you?
Well, what I think happened.
Yeah, I'm pausing this lady for a second, but yeah, I'll just ride my bike over there. I just didn't want to lock it outside of a Shopper Drug Mart that one day. Like I said, it was like, fuck, I locked up my bike the other day, and then I looked on the ground, there was a fucking D-lock chopped in half, and like, I guess somebody just got their shit jacked. I don't know, I was like, oh fuck, my lock is just some crappy, like, wiry thing, not even like a fucking metal plated whatever. It's fucked up. I went to actually like just to that driving range there in Winnipeg, you know what I mean, like on the outskirts there or whatever. And I'm not even lying. I almost fucking hit this old Asian lady right in the fucking head, man. It was me and Ryan. We got high and shit, and then just thought we'd hit around balls or whatever during working hours. And I fucking shanked the shit out of the ball. I almost hit the people that were teeing off with me, man. I have like no control, but I did crank one pretty good. I can see it. If you figure out your swing and shit, then yeah. I usually catch on, but man, I don't know. I don't think I should be like practicing around other people, because I could probably hit them or something by accident. This is one of the sports I'd like to learn. Just to get out there, you know, and just relax, be in the sun. Fuck. Ah, shit. Have you tried golf or no? I don't even know if... I got this thing in my left ear, so it's like I'm yelling too. I was ping pong champion for a while too. I had to retire because I swear I just couldn't find anybody that was just worth playing. I was just that fucking good, man. Ah, shit. Last big tournament I went was at Earl Grey, and that was it. I'm still pretty amazing, you know. I probably could pick up a ping pong racket and take on a professional, I guess. Okay, I'm at fucking -4 now. Oh yeah, that's money. Oh, never mind. What the fuck? Why the fuck is it landing in though? It shouldn't be landing there. Oh, fuck. Alright, well, let this lady continue her story about how a ghost came in and started playing with her toes or something.
This is the thing that I finally got out of him. He was kind of a troubled youth, and he grew up in Oregon, Eugene, Oregon area. But one time he said he was walking in the woods as a young teenager, and this voice came to him and said, well, I will give you power if you want this power, and he accepted it. And I just think that he had allowed this dark power to kind of give him this
the UFO in the sky.
I found out later,
Pretend to be a cloud
so
there.
many big things he lied about. But yeah, I think that the spirit left his body when he was thinking of killing himself.
Boy,
What I think happened, and then I think it actually was like in the tree outside the front door.
that is really odd. That's an odd one. All right, thank you very much. Well, I actually can imagine that in an instant or instance before somebody would decide to commit suicide, they've already given up life, right? If they're really serious about it, then they have given up life. And it may well be that the spirit at some point just prior to the actual ending of the life really does leave the body. Maybe that's what she experienced. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hello, this is Rod. I'm calling from Hampton.
Yes, Rod.
I was telling you about the Yorktown Victory Center and the ghosts that pop up every once in a while there. And being a security guard out there,
Oh, I love security guards.
one night happened to have a certain
What the fuck? Why would the late great Art Bell say it like that though? Like he just got a little thump in his fucking corduroys or whatever. Oh, I love security guards.
What I thought was George Washington. I glanced
Like,
back
oh,
and
okay.
I didn't see it. And a few months,
Like, did you fuck one or something?
later, I was outside going into the forest area out behind the camp, and all of a sudden I
Oh, okay. Hey, roll back, roll back.
found about
The
6
fuck is
feet
this?
behind me.
Great.
And I took a few more steps and I heard
Oh, nice sound effects, you fucking moron. Here we go again.
I glanced up the hill, and there were two glowing orange orbs, and I took a few more steps. I looked behind me. Nothing happened.
Oh man, he's really good
Took
at
a few
that.
more steps.
What the fuck is snow crunching?
Still following me.
Okay, I'll shut the fuck up. What a
Still
fucking
seeing
idiot.
these orange-colored orbs up there on the hilltop, and I stopped. And I went back a few more steps, and went forward, heard the sound again. So, being the curious type, I figured something may be following me. And
That was about 16 steps. By now you should be sure.
well, I was pretty sure something was behind me.
Yes.
Yeah. And I got to looking on the ground, and there was a feather, a turkey feather.
Come on, baby.
One of the animals that had been there in the
Come
farm.
on, baby.
And it was somehow hooked up to a spider web.
Ah, shit.
I had crossed over this spider web, and it hooked up to my leg. That was dragging along behind me, making that sound. But I still had those orange orbs. Maybe a little bit of a fire, I thought, up on the hillside. So I got closer and closer to that.
Ah.
And set up a firing range for the black powder muskets. They had been shooting that.
These greens are fucking horrible.
Orbs that were showing there were a reflection of the light over there in the maintenance area.
So it was nothing.
So it was nothing.
It was nothing. The whole thing was nothing.
Yeah, but it sure scared the dickens out of me.
Sarah, well, thank you. There is a story that wasn't. In other words, a perfectly appropriate explanation for everything that happened. Sounds and lights combined. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hi, my name's Raven.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a friend named
No,
Gary,
no, 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 no,
and
no, 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 no,
he
no.
told me this story, so this is secondhand. But he has three
Fucking
friends.
secondhand
Steve
story?
and,
Come on.
Vern and Kim. And his friend
Nobody wants to hear this
Vern
bitch tell
had
somebody
been
else's
for a couple
story.
years
Like, fuck, man.
And had been talking about suicide. So, and hadn't seen him for a while, so Vern said, can I come over? And he came over, and they hung out together. And then Vern drove away that night, and he didn't see him for a few days. And then he had this dream. And in the dream, my friend's name is Gary, and he hears, Gary! And he's like, who's that? Who's that? And he looks up in the window, and here's Vern. Vern's in the window, and he's going, Gary! And Gary's like, oh, wow, what's Vern doing in the window? And then Vern says, bury me. And Gary, at this point, freaks out, and he wakes up, you know.
I didn't quite get it. Was it bury me?
Bury me, yeah.
Bury me, oh.
You know, really scary.
Bury me down by the river. Vern's sick of fucking the afterlife. He wants
The next night, he has the same dream. Gary! And at this point, he's thinking,
I'm making jokes like I'm super brave or anything. If that fucking old cocksucker Vern came in here and started saying bury me, I'd be pissing shit and whatever I got in me, it's coming out.
Bury me! And Gary wakes up, you know. He's terrified, and this goes on for, a few months, and he's, you know...
And hopefully I'll get past that one day and be brave, but until then I'm still straight up fucking 100% bitch mode
I've been having
when it comes to ghosts.
Oh my god.
And by this time, Vern hasn't shown up. Vern's
And they
gone.
know it,
He's
man.
just
They fucking
disappeared.
probably fuck with
And
me.
the police have been looking for him and stuff, and he says,
They touched my Peter once, I was like, holy fuck.
Vern came to me and
Freaky.
said,
Freaky dicky ghost.
and I look up and he's in the window, and there's Vern. He says,
Bury me.
bury me.
Let me jump to the conclusion. This friend of yours.
Yeah, cut this fucker moron off, please.
He did commit suicide, and then they talked to their third friend, Kim, and Kim was like,
similar.
I've been having the dreams
Got
too.
it. Got it.
Have another pizza pop, you fat bitch. Holy shit.
Did they finally find the body?
And in each dream, as the months went by, he looked more and more like ugly and decomposing, and after a while, it was
God.
But yeah, it kind of sucks because it's not your story though, you fucking dumbass. Thanks for
got more and more messed up, and
the whole Vern story here. Oh, holy fucking, what the fuck?
That was horrible. This is a true story.
Hang up on this fucking mouth-breathing, fucking chronic masturbating piece of shit, man.
Next door to Gary's house, and pulled into the driveway, and here was Vern's car. And he had a hose going from the exhaust pipe up into the cabin of the car.
It's gonna backspin then.
How much time had passed since he committed suicide? Oh my god. So this decomposing guy was entering the dreams of his friends, begging to be buried. Well, they do tell these stories about suicide, don't they? You're on the air, Ghost to Ghost AM 05. Hi. Hello? Yes?
Yeah, okay, it's me.
It's you. And your name
It's
is?
me. My name is Marilyn from Grafton.
Okay.
Marilyn?
And, gosh,
I like that
don't
name.
even hardly know where to begin.
Marilyn's a nice
At the beginning.
At the beginning. Oh, okay, that would probably be when I was like 6 years old. I was walking to school.
People named Marilyn are usually,
at this red
they're
light,
tough women too.
I stopped to cross the
With
street,
class, you
and I
know,
looked
I mean,
both ways, nothing's coming. And I started across the street, and I was hit by this drunken funeral director, and he was driving a hearse. And the next thing I knew, I was like floating above my body. And I looked down, and I saw people in the group on the street there.
What the fuck happened there? Oh, they had to go to
Heaven
commercial.
knows your heart must need help after this. You're on the air once again. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Art.
Okay, please continue.
Okay, I was hovering up above the ground, and I noticed a large group of people on the road, and I was curious, so I kind of just floated over, and I looked in there, and I was really startled when I saw myself laying on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I just kind of, that's the last thing I remember. I was like sucked back into my body. That was just like the beginning of everything that started happening to me.
Many people have had near-death experiences, have a lot of follow-on stuff happen to them.
Come on, baby, take a good... Oh, fuck.
Well,
I did the same shit as last time.
What I called visitations at night. Before a close friend or a relative in our family would die, I would have visitations by ghosts. And there would always be more than one night of it. So when it started, I would just be terrified because I couldn't fall asleep. I knew it would keep happening and happening. Well, one time, this visitations had started happening to me, and I knew another one was going to come that night. I had the bed pushed up against the wall, and my husband sleeping on the outside. I was kind of afraid there.
Sure.
And I was laying there in bed, just totally terrified, and I could feel like these fingers going up the nape of my neck, and I could feel the fingers were sort of like grabbing the hair, and I knew within myself that if it was able to grab my hair, it would pull me somewhere. I don't know where, but I didn't want to go there. So I started screaming, and I woke up my husband. And I had subsequent visitations to that. I would see, like, shadows marching up against the wall.
You know, of course, your story
fucked up, too.
Very similar to other NDE, type experiences that people have had. I mean, I've really interviewed quite a number of people who have had a sort of a brief instant on the other side.
Come on.
And inevitably they have these follow-ups. And I wonder if there is some kind of connection, kind of like, once you've been there.
Baby. Curve. Okay, where's it gonna go? Where's it gonna go? Where's it gonna go? Where's it gonna go?
With you. And a lot of people have precognitive experiences. A lot of people have visitations, much like that young lady.
Holy fucking shadow person. Speaking of shadow people, look at this cocksucker right here.
You're on the air. Hi. Hello?
Good evening, Art.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Before anything else, may I say thank you for this marvelous entertainment that continues night after week after month after year.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Can you send me pictures of your fucking cock?
Several years ago...
Excuse me? Fucking hang up
just breaking
now.
into the trucking industry, I was...
Like, nobody's saying that, you fucking weirdo.
The middle
well, what if they were, huh?
On Highway 152, there's a very large reservoir.
Aw, come on, what the fuck? Is that gonna go at least? I don't even know if I hit it hard enough.
Valley and the San Joaquin Valley.
Yes, sir.
And lovely summer night. Just
that's funny.
Marvelous. And I'm driving along about half asleep in the middle of the night. And all of a sudden, out of the blue comes this little voice. It says, "Lovely night." And I kind of looked off to the right side of the cab, and just a fleeting glimpse of this blonde girl in a white, full-skirted dress. And I thought, okay, too many miles, too many hours. I kept on going. There was a Denny's about 20 miles in front of me. I was going to stop at for coffee.
Good for you.
Which I did. And reaching over to the right side
and
of the
a hooker, which I did.
Of course, there's an engine cover there that I had to lean over, and I put my hand on the right seat to roll up the window that I had partially
Typical
open.
truckers, those fucking horn dogs.
The seat was wet. So, well, that's rather odd. It was a lovely summer night. It wasn't raining, nothing going on, no heavy dew or anything like that.
Right.
I hadn't run into anything. So, I proceeded to get coffee and go about my business. And a couple of months later, I was talking to a couple of drivers at the truck stop in San Jose that's no longer there. And they were relating this story about this couple that had gone off the road up in the Pacheco Pass years before. The new husband had survived, but his bride just earlier that evening had drowned there.
Oh, come on, baby.
And let me guess. The other truckers had experienced the same thing.
No, they hadn't. They just were relating.
Oh, burn on, you aren't.
Just kind of kicking it around. Like I say, this
just fucking put him in his place? No. Oh, no, Art, they didn't.
I had not heard the story before. I just thought it was rather odd. He was left.
I should say, I appreciate the call. Thank you. I would think that would be the repetitive kind of thing. That worries me. Has always worried me. This apparent repetitive action that people seem to experience in these stories. I mean, you know, in death, that they do the same thing again and again and again, a hell of its own, really, if you think about it. But again, it does lead one toward the possibility that all we're experiencing and all we're noticing is some kind of, I don't know, endless tape loop, sort of a vibration that remains, but not really a ghost as we think of a soul. Wildcard Line, you're on the air. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Art.
Good morning.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, Walt from Pennsylvania.
Yes, Walt.
850 WNTJ, Johnstown.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold right now. So
Whoa, look at this.
Just let me know.
Okay.
Let's go for one hell of a pun on this one.
Back in '95, me, my dad, and a friend of ours, we were out hunting. There's about a foot and a half of snow out there, and we go back in our tree stand, separate up, and around about lunchtime, we meet up with my dad on his tree stand. We're sitting there having lunch, and look out across the hillside there in the thicket. My dad says, "Look at that." He said, "There's a guy and a woman over there," and he's holding her hand, and they're making tracks up through the woods, up through this thicket, and we're looking at him, and he has a long sleeve dress shirt on, dress pants, and dress shoes. She has a white dress on with high heels. Now, there's 18 inches of snow out there, and it's about 10 degrees out. We're all bundled up and like, what the heck are they doing back there?
Not very appropriate.
No, not very appropriate at all. So my buddy pulls his binoculars out, and he's looking at them, and I pull
Oh, that might be
mine
too much?
out,
Okay, good.
We're looking at them, too, and, you know, all of a sudden, you know, we're checking them out.
What did I do?
And
What is that?
they just,
Oh,
like,
fuck.
disappear. So towards the end of the day, maybe about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're working our way
Fuck
out
that
to
buzzer's doing.
go home, and we're looking at the tracks in the snow. There was no foot tracks from them.
No foot tracks.
There was ours. There were tracks from deer, but there was no foot tracks from them.
Again, that's kind of like some kind of slip. It's, you know, almost like you went to another time or another time came to you, or there was some little window of something that just should not have been.
Well, it's more like, I think it's more like there was a window that came to us, because about 3/4 of a mile from us used to be an old farm up at this place. It's up in the state park.
Playing it safe?
And there was an old farm up there, because we found foundation stones from like 1810, 1835 up here. And, you know, it's kind of wondering, you know, geez, wonder what happened back then, that you see a young guy and a young woman, and they're making tracks up through the woods, and when you leave for the day, you see no tracks in the snow from them. And it didn't snow, and the snow didn't melt. So,
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I've got it. All right, thank you very much. Well, there have been quite a few like that tonight, haven't there? Sort of little shifts or little immersions into different times, like the lady with all the contemporary things that were actually really old. Not dusty, brand new, just beauty, but really old. It's kind of like you went to a different place, a different time. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Hi.
Right in there.
I've got one that's a little different approach,
nice.
and I'm going to speed it up as quick as possible.
All right, please.
About 4 years ago, I was with this girl who came from a very broken home. Her mother was killed in a car accident. Her father abused her, so she was kind of off balance, and I didn't realize that she was
Of course,
off
this guy
balance, so we
fucking
moved
swooped in to
together.
fuck her. Like, yeah,
But,
what a gentleman.
In the middle of the night, going on 3, 4 in the morning, I had to get up and be at work at 6 in the morning.
Yes.
So I wake up and have an attack of what appears to be sleep paralysis, which I'm sure you're very familiar with.
I am.
And I had never had this happen to me before, kind of, you know, unfamiliar with it. And I battled with this for about 5 minutes and then fell immediately back into a deep sleep. Into this sleep, I was in this dream state where I was in like a grayish-like hallway, and I saw my grandfather, who had committed suicide when I was about 6 months old. And I went to approach him and hug him, and he pops me right in the nose.
Oh?
Bloodies my nose in the dream, and we're struggling, and a woman in a blue gown came and got
Just gonna go to the washroom for a second.
off of me and told me it's going to be okay. She's just confused. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
So when I wake up, I snap immediately back, just completely awake, not the least bit tired, and there's my ex-girlfriend, and she is bawling
I mean, completely in tears. Couldn't get a word out of her for an hour. And finally, when I did get a word out of her, she said, "What does she mean that I'm confused?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "I heard her voice through you."
Oh,
and I heard
brother.
a groan. And at that moment, Art, my nose gushed blood.
Oh, my God.
So, you be the judge. Thank you for all these wonderful shows. You have a great night.
Yeah, thank you very much for contributing to it as well. Well, I guess my first reaction would be that you really did not escape the paralysis, that you really didn't fall, obviously, back into a normal sleep after the paralysis, but instead you in some way gave in to the paralysis. And voila, what followed? You can fight off this sleep paralysis and wake yourself up or whatever, but that's not what happened to you. You immersed yourself into it. You're on the air Ghost to Ghost AM with Art Bell.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Art.
What is your first?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm a little nervous.
That's all right.
My first name is Diana.
Diana.
And I'm calling from Brighton, Colorado.
Excellent.
My true story, my experience happened some years ago when I was attending the School for the Visually Impaired in Louisiana. And I was about 16, 17, around that age. And I had just laid down to bed, and I was living in a dorm. And my room was like at the end of the hall, and I was the only one in that room.
Were you completely sightless?
No, I'm totally blind in one eye and have some vision in the other.
I see. Okay.
And so I just lay down for
This bitch is
bed.
loud, man.
And starting to doze off, and all of a sudden I hear this like ticking at the wall outside. And I'm like, okay, what in the world is going on? Maybe it's some of the boys that are playing a prank, you know?
Sure.
So I get up and I look out the window, open the window, okay, nothing out there. Oh, okay, go back to sleep. Then I start hearing scratch, scratch at the screen. I'm like, oh, okay, now this is getting ridiculous.
By now you probably figure somebody's messing with you.
Yeah. And so then it's like, okay, it's like, I gotta get some sleep. I gotta get to school, you know? So I lay down again, start to doze off, and then I hear this voice that goes, sleep now, Diana, it's okay. And I'm like, all right. And the next thing I know, I wake up and my bed starts shaking.
Oh.
The room, everything in the room just starts like crackling all over, and then I look toward my closet door, and there's this face, this like orangish red face with these reddish fire eyes and these horns on the head and like a black hood over the head, and it's like getting brighter and bigger, and it's like I'm frozen, and I'm like, oh God, what do I do, you know? And the only thing I knew to do is just say, God, get me out of here. And the next thing I know, I'm running, but my feet aren't touching the floor. It's like something's carrying me out of that room, and I ran to my best friend's room and said, something happened. She said, well, take it easy, you know, just sleep in my room tonight. And I didn't go back in that room for the rest of the night.
Well, I'm not laughing because anything's funny, only because it's sort of so classic. I mean, running and you can't go anywhere, you know, feet up in the air. It's just the worst of the worst.
But I mean, that face, that has just haunted me all my life, seeing that.
I imagine it would. What conclusion do you now, when you think about it now, you're older, what do you think?
I don't know. Maybe something just trying to scare me because it knew things in my future, good things in my future that were going to happen to me. Maybe trying to scare me. I don't know. I could never figure it out. But I mean, I've had other little scares through my life, you know, where certain little things have happened, like trying to stop me from doing things, or, you know. But that was the most, oof.
Maybe you have some sort of...
I remember why I don't do it through my fucking nose, because it burns like
I'm
hell.
pretty sure I do.
All right, thank you very much for the story. Have a good night.
Thanks so much.
Right, take care. West of the Rockies, you're on Ghost AM 05. Hello.
Is this me, Art?
That's you.
Hi, happy Halloween.
Same to you, and what is your first name?
My name is Zach.
Zach?
Zach.
Zach, oh, okay,
Yeah.
Zach, welcome.
Zach Morris, you knew I was gonna say
When I was a
that.
boy, we lived in this house in Oregon City, Oregon. I think I was about 6 years old when we moved in there. And in Oregon City, there are a lot of historical homes built right at the end of the Oregon Trail.
Right.
And this house is one of those. We still had the old clawfoot bathtub and the old, Art Deco light fixtures, and everything was original to the house.
Sure.
Anyway, it was a spooky old place. I mean, you just looked at it, and it was weird.
Oh,
It
come
was
on,
a
baby.
spooky house. And I'd play around in the basement, building forts and
That'd be cool if this
whatnot,
rolled in
and,
there.
our
Oh, that's
landlord
too much to the
lived
left.
across the street. And I remember one day I was talking to the landlord, and in casual conversation,
The fuck is this?
he brought up the fact
Come on,
that,
no,
there was a
no,
ghost
no,
that
no,
lived
no, no,
upstairs
no, no,
in
no.
that
What the
house
fuck is this shit, man?
of an old lady that had died there. I didn't pursue the matter, what that was all about. But not too long after that, things started happening around our house. Little lights.
What, they
going
want
on
to show
in the
replay
house,
then? Fine, I'll let them.
and
Fuck
strange
it.
sounds in the house, and every time I was in the basement, I felt like I was being watched. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
Huh.
And
it sounds like poltergeist stuff.
It was
lights on and off.
right.
How about things moving?
I personally didn't see anything move, but you could hear like chairs sliding across the floor and footsteps, that type thing.
Right.
So being a little kid, my mom, my brothers and I tried to tell my mom and dad, and they just kind of poo-pooed it, overactive imagination type thing. And I'm really nervous, forgive me.
Oh, no, you're doing fine. You're doing great.
This is great. And, this went on for, I forget how long. I was pretty
That was
young.
awesome.
And
Not.
until about the summer that I was 11. And my mother and I were alone in the house. My brothers were outside playing. And she had laid down on the couch for a nap. Well, I'm in the bathroom, and I'm taking a bath in this old bathtub. And playing with my toys, whatnot. And all of a sudden, I feel a hand on the back of my neck kind of stroking me up and down,
Yeah.
like
The fuck?
just a really loving caress type thing. And it freaked me out. So I jumped straight up and yelled for my mother. Of course, she didn't hear me. Well, right about that time, this is where it got really spooky.
Okay, we're way short on time.
Okay, so anyway, I could feel snakes falling off
Okay,
the
65
ceiling, hitting me on the
feet to
head.
the pin. Come on.
And as they did, they would slither down my body.
No, something ain't right here.
Flopping right into the bathtub, like everything.
Fuck it, I'm just gonna put it.
I freaked. I jumped out, ran into the living room, and actually, I yelled, "Stop it!" This is the bad part, because when I yelled, "Stop it," this voice, this cackle, it was the most evil, hideous laugh I have ever heard, and I have never forgotten it. And it was in the bathroom with me, and it was just, I still can't even. I had to go to a priest and talk to him after.
Well, that is exactly where we're going to have to end it. Take care, buddy.
Okay,
I appreciate the story.
Oh, okay. Just keep going to the next one.
Most of you have good hearts. That's one good part of all this. I mean, so much of this is virtually heart-stopping. That the majority of you calling who have been through these experiences, you've just got to have good hearts, right? Good, strong hearts. Because here you are telling your story. East of the Rockies, your turn to tell
Not
your
me.
story. Good morning.
Well, I guess I do, but I
How
scare
are you?
easy.
What is your first name
-6.
and where art thou?
I'm Barbara, and I'm calling from Jonesboro, Arkansas.
All right, Barbara.
When I was about 12 years old, my mom had started to drink. And if you know anything about alcoholism, if they don't want to get help, you watch them get progressively worse.
Until they hit bottom, that's right.
Yeah, so over the years, that's what happened until I was about 19. And at that point, I watched my mom get very bad and watched her change physically over the years. And she finally died an alcoholic. She just wouldn't get help.
I'm so sorry.
But one day, about 3 months after she died, I had gone back to the house where I was not living at home at the time. I went back to help my dad, and there were some dirty dishes in the sink, so I decided I would wash them up, and I was just kind of
These fucking
not
greens are
thinking
horrible,
about
man.
anything,
Holy shit.
looking out the window at the backyard where I used to play. And I just felt like somebody had walked in the room and was standing next to me. And I looked over really quick, and there's my mother standing. But she looked at me, and I was so shocked. She looked, her face was all glowing, and her skin looked really healthy, and she looked healthy. Her hair was looked soft. And she said to me, "Don't worry about me. I am so happy now." And she was smiling. That's something I hadn't seen her done in years.
It's beautiful.
I don't know why I did this.
Whether you want to believe it or not, gave this lady comfort. So
I guess for a reality check. And then I looked back, and I was, as I was my head
I do believe
back,
that.
I wanted to say, "Mom,"
Right.
and she was gone.
And she was gone. All right, here's what I want to ask you. And I'm sure you've asked yourself this many times. We hear so many stories like the one you just told, although usually not an appearance, and rarely does the person talk like this, but is there any possibility that your
what
mind
the fucking vagina was that?
could have concocted this, you know, in some sort of psychological calming for yourself, or no chance of that? This was real, huh?
Yeah, because I was just so shocked, and afterwards I was shaking because I thought, my goodness, it's just so bizarre. And I never told my dad because I just felt he wouldn't believe me. But, you know, because of this whole thing with alcoholism, my mom and I didn't have a very good relationship anyway.
Right.
And her coming to me and smiling and just saying, "Don't worry, I'm okay," was just weird. I mean,
oh no.
Out of character, I guess you'd say.
Well, there are many who believe that on the other side, if we make it, you know, to the supposed good place, you are restored to your best health and all the rest of that sort of thing. And so maybe it's all true.
I know, but she was glowing. I mean, she just had this glowing appearance.
Very healthy. The exact opposite of what she was in life. That's I hope that's true. And for you, is it now true? I mean, was it so real that you have no doubt at all in your mind about kind of the nature of the other side now?
Oh, I wish that were true, but I still question myself.
You still have questions, huh?
Yeah, because I don't know. I don't know. I guess everybody goes through a period where they kind of question, if they have faith, they kind of question it. And then maybe that's where I'm at now. But I remembered the story as I was listening to your show, and I thought, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for calling. And
fuck off, you bastard.
That was an important question for me. I mean, the question about could, and she responded so quickly, no. You know, could it have been some sort of psychological protection, you know, of your own mind reaching out and telling you what you essentially want to hear? But she came back very quickly.
Oh, fuck yeah.
No. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning. Yes, sir.
That fucking bitch shot right the hell in there. That was a nice shot. Hope
again, Murray?
They got a show replay.
Murray,
Okay, there we go.
Welcome, Murray.
Thank you, sir. I'm a long-time listener. I started listening to you in 1991 or 1992.
It's been a while.
A long ride. Well,
Perfect. That was
the
fucking
reason
perfect.
I'm calling is I had quite a ghost experience in 1988, and it's changed my life forever.
Get the ball rolling.
And it's funny, when I found your show, I found that I wasn't the only guy out there that experienced this type of stuff. That was great.
Well, you know, that is one thing about this program, of course, that people do hear other people, and then they say to themselves, I guess I'm not nuts.
Well, my wife still thinks I am.
How so? All right, so what happened?
Well, I was going to school in Fulton, Missouri, a place called Westminster College, and TV ended there. We were, pretty bad shape at that time. Couldn't afford cable, so TV shuts off pretty early, and you have to find something else to do.
Right.
Masturbate.
We had turned on. I was with my cousin Mark and my friend Peter, and TV had ended. Yet we hadn't turned the TV off. We were just doing other things. By that time, a stereo would come on,
I was going to ask, is that back to the days when TV stations would sign off, play the Star Spangled Banner, and go off the air?
That's right. I believe the last show was Star Trek, and then they would do that. And that was out of Jeff City, Missouri. It was the only TV you could get.
Okay, so I remember all that, yes.
Yeah, those old days. So white noise had come on through the little television. It was probably a 14-inch TV.
Oh, shit.
And my friend Peter was just noticed out of the corner of his eye, you could see images running in the snow. And it looked like, a feed from another station. And it was odd. It was odd. It was very odd. And 5 minutes of this or something. And then it just passed. And we turned the TV off, listening to a record.
Right.
And this is where all reality ended. And I had the weirdest experience of my life. We're just sitting there in his living room of my cousin's house, and then we just hear a large groan come out of the kitchen.
A groan.
A groan. And it definitely caught our attention. We're like, what was that?
Human or animal type groan?
Human.
Like a moaning? It's Big Papa. They call me Big Papa.
Steps.
Kick in the door, baby, in the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more.
You could see right
Give
through
me
her.
your shit.
You could see the wall, the door behind her, and where she stopped in front of me, I could see a speaker behind her.
This is the moment you know your heart's okay, by the way.
It was definitely strange.
Well, he's breathing pretty heavy now, though.
I looked at my cousin, he looked at me.
Making my fucking heart rate expedited a bit.
And she's looking at us,
oh, wait,
and
is
we're
this
looking at her. And it got really strange from there. I don't understand when she disappeared. The next thing we saw in front of us were 3 little boys playing jacks at our feet on the hardwood floors of the apartment.
Again.
Little boys playing jacks, and you could same thing, see right through them. They were made of black smoke, like when you burn plastic. I don't know, when I was a teenager growing up in Missouri, like on 4th of July, you'd see plastic burning. It was just acrid black smoke, and it was just angry. It was just strange.
God. That'd be, and more?
Oh, it just keeps going, sir. And I'll try to hurry, because I know we have a few listeners out there. I just think we mentally, all 3 of us kind of lost it so much when we saw these little boys playing. And 2 were skinny and 1 was heavier. And that was even funny. We all remember the same thing today. Somehow, that made a segue. I just cannot explain it. And that's the weirdest thing of the whole story is that suddenly there was a little girl. It reminded my mother, like Shirley Temple growing up. It reminded me of Shirley Temple. And she was doing cartwheels in place at the exact same place where we saw the older lady ghost and the boys playing.
And again, black smoke?
Just see right there. Now, I heard that term shadow people for all these years on your programming.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that applies. I just don't even...
Well, I was almost going to jump to that myself. Anyway, did this all end, or how did it...
No. Did I mention that they were wearing period clothes? It was evident to us that they were...
you did not mention that.
I'm so sorry. I'm a little excited.
When you say period clothes, what period?
It's minimum turn of the century... it's not a PC thing, but
You mean early, like 1900s?
Earlier. This is Fulton, Missouri. They came to Callaway. They seceded from the state and during the Civil War and stuff. So they've had a long history there.
Right.
Well, to cut to the point, we were watching this, observing this, and just couldn't believe it. And then there was just no image. I think it was with our thoughts. It's very hard to explain. And then in kicks the front door, and an African-American guy, big old man, runs in very angry. And he's pointing and yelling into the kitchen area where that original apparition had walked out. And he's just angry. You can tell he's a very abusive man. It just scared us to death. Then he saw us. He saw us. He turned at me. He looked me straight in the eye, and he just cut across the room straight at me.
Holy fuck.
And he got to within 3 or 4 feet of me, stared me straight in the face.
And?
He proceeded, he pulled his hand back, and tried to punch me 2 or 3 times repeatedly. My friends are screaming at me. They're sitting down a little bit lower on the couch. They're screaming, they're, no, no. And he swings at me. And he didn't make contact. He could not make contact. And he sat back about a foot, and I sat up in my chair, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and absolutely positively, right there, we just knew we were just worlds apart.
Boy, you're right about one thing. That's where reality ended, and then all of this whole thing began.
And I could just see it on his face. And
that guy wanted to kill that kid, though?
I
That's
just don't
fucked up.
remember much. I remember my friends were like, whimpering.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And we were just so in shock.
And you all remember it the same way now?
Exactly. Exactly. One of my friends after this quit school. It changed our lives completely.
I'm sure it would. You know, that's into a. How would you describe that? It's like you walked into, no, because there were several of them. So a different world opened up in front of you. Different creatures, different. Perhaps a different dimension. I really don't know how to describe what I just heard. That's really weird stuff. Several entities of some sort, just a whole collage of them, maybe that's a bevy of them. You're on the air, Ghost to Ghost AM05. Hi.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Ardo. How you doing, man? I'm calling from San Antonio. This is John.
Yes, John.
We love you, man. You're awesome, dude.
You have a story for us, John?
You're awesome,
yeah,
dude.
I just wanted to talk. One time I had
right on.
It was on Halloween. It was down here in San Antonio at the train tracks. And
the famous train tracks?
The famous train tracks. And we went out there one day with a couple of friends, and we're in the back of a big, very big pickup truck with a 4x4 off-road, very big. There was 4 of us in the back of the truck. We went to the train tracks, and we did it one time. Went through it, you know, we're messing around, goofing, laughing.
All right, you really ought to tell the audience, I suppose, a little bit of background of the train track story in San Antonio.
Well, it's supposedly of a school bus that tried to go over, and I think it stalled.
The school bus stalled?
The school bus stalled, and supposedly they didn't get the kids out on time. The train came in and took all of them.
Right, but now...
I went slow, you motherfucker.
There have been so many stories about people who have intentionally parked their vehicles on the train tracks, some of them sprinkling powders and stuff, and these vehicles are pushed over these train tracks in San Antonio, and you can actually see little children's hand marks on the back of the vehicles.
Yeah, I tried the baby powder, but I never got anything from that. But what's amazing is that this vehicle that we were in was very big, very humongous.
And did it move?
Yeah, it moved. It moved it. And what was weird is that it goes it goes up on a hill a little bit. And the third time around, I was telling my friend to mess with the brakes. He kept messing with the brakes. I told him, when you get right to the slope and the truck's pointing kind of up at an angle,
I
said, step on the brakes. I said, make it come to a complete stop. He did that, and then I told him to let it go because I wanted to see if he was going to push the big...
Boy, you were really testing this.
They pushed over the truck, and it went sliding to a slope to the side. And there were 4 guys in the back. I had 4 friends in the back. There were 3 people inside the truck. Girl in the middle, my friend Donald, Angel driving the truck, 4 of us in the back.
And you all witnessed?
Yeah, well, we had already did it about 3 times. And the 3rd time, when we were doing it, we did that slope, and we heard a bunch of children crying. We could hear, you're talking, I heard from 7 to 8 children
crying,
moaning and crying, and this was the best surround sound that you could have ever heard of children just crying. We freaked out, and everybody looked at each other. We told each other, did y'all hear that? And they said, yeah. And I asked them what they heard, and they said that they heard children crying. 2 guys in the back claimed that they heard a train coming. I didn't hear no train coming, but we all heard the children crying. And let me tell you, it scared us. I just started yelling to the guys.
Well, you should not have... All right, first
that
of
would
all,
be fucking trippy,
you should not have been testing that in that way. You know, I've heard from enough people about this story that I guess I believe it's true. That these children that were killed now push vehicles off these train tracks. But to go and intentionally test it in the way you did and to apply the brakes and to cause these entities to break out in tears, that's
that would have been cool.
Much.
I had to go for it. Fuck it.
I don't think I'd be testing it in that way. That's really tempting some kind of fate, I think. You're on the air, Coast to Coast AM with RFL. Hi.
Good morning, Art.
Good morning. Where are you, sir?
Mike in Traverse City, Michigan.
Hey, Mike.
How are you this morning?
Well, A little freaked out, but...
It is so good to hear you on the radio.
Thank you.
And our story comes kind of from the old country, from Ireland.
Okay, you're going to have to speak up good and loud for me.
Okay. My wife and I make a number of trips to Ireland. We've been there 3 of the last 4 years, and 4 times total. And we like to hunt on castles.
No.
And there are so many there that the people are so nice, you can usually knock on a door or of a caretaker or the castle itself and get the guided tour or get permission.
Yeah, that's cool. I'd love to go castle hunting myself.
Oh, it's great. It's so ancient, and my wife kind of has that touch. Her grandmother's from Ireland, and they said she had the shining, so to speak.
Right. Oh.
But there are some castles that you just can't get permission because nobody's
Ah, what the fuck?
so
No. Oh, this is how I get all fucked up. Are you fucking kidding me?
And hopefully,
really,
just leave.
Okay.
But we went to Charleville, right pretty much smack in the center of Ireland. It's a Gothic castle built, I'd say, in the mid-1700s.
Yes, sir.
And reputedly one of the most haunted in Ireland. And again, literally sits right in the center of the island. We hit it on a Friday afternoon, and it's got one of those long winding roads that goes through oak groves and trees, and it's just the most ghoulish thing you could imagine.
Yes.
And we hit it, finally made that 1 mile drive up the driveway, and parked in the parking lot, and just a beautiful Gothic castle, very big. And went and knocked on the door, and of course nobody answered. And so we kind of just walked the perimeter, and we noticed a lot of sawhorses and construction material around, and we figured, like a lot of old castles, it was under renovation.
Yes.
So we kind of kept walking the perimeter, and then we heard a horn honk, and we thought, well, we're busted. We might as well, go admit and then leave. And came around, and there was a few more cars in the parking lot, and people that were dressed up in suits and tuxedos were going in the castle. So we asked one what was going on, and they basically ignored us. And we kind of followed them in and saw that they were taking wedding pictures.
All right, I believe we're back to the castle. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, very fitting bumper music here at the cast.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were at our castle in Ireland, Charleville Castle, and we kind of split off from the wedding party. And immediately we headed up a long spiral staircase that was rickety and almost kind of like in that Julie Harris movie, The Haunting.
Mm-hmm.
And couldn't believe it got probably 2 or 3 floors up and did the thing you scream at movie characters for doing. I turn around, my wife's gone. She split off down the hallway.
Always.
And I told myself that, and it's like, this is probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. So I kind of rattled around and found her, came back down the stairs, and we saw stairs going down. So we proceeded, and we ended up in the dungeon. And all this time, from the time that we came in with the wedding party, this white cat was following us around, and kind of rubbing against our legs, and we'd pick it up and pet it, and it purred, and it followed us up the stairs, and in the grand hallway, and then down into the dungeon. So we get down into the dungeon, and now we know we're really kind of in an area we shouldn't be, so our senses are really heightened because we're just sure we're going to get caught, and there's really not much apologizing you can do other than just face the consequence.
Not by the time you're in the dungeon.
Yep. There's no way
Minus 5. What is the what are the standings right now?
Start hearing
Oh, sorry
the
about the shit.
construction noises and the remodeling noises and saws, being placed down and saw horses being moved around and tools dropped and people walking. So we're really trying to avoid that. And we hear it ahead of us, and so we go a little bit further, and then we kind of back up. And down into the dungeon in Charleville, it's a long, narrow hallway with alcoves shooting off to the left and to the right, like little black tunnels, which is kind of creepy as you're walking by them.
Sure.
And, excuse me.
I don't know about this one.
Coming down the steps.
Yeah, it's not going to make
One
it.
of
Fuck.
those kind of square spiral steps.
Oh, don't go all the way back.
So
Okay.
the are coming down the steps, and my wife leaps in a dark alcove and beckons me in, and I kind of hit that deer in the headlight thing and just froze. And the cat was on the bottom landing at the last turn, and the steps came down one at a time, distinctly hearing these steps, and all of a sudden the cat looked at me, looked up at the steps, and just hissed and arched her back, and then the noise stopped. And so we thought, boy, caught another break, and kept kind of walking around and hearing a lot of these noises, but could never find them. Well, as we came out finally and left the castle, we went out to our car and noticed that you know, we were the only car when we got here, and now we're the only car while we're here. And it's like 6 o'clock on a Friday night. We know that these good Irish folks aren't working construction after 5 o'clock on a Friday night, so what were those noises coming from? And never really did figure it out. Now, this last year, 2005, in fact, in September, we went back for a trip, and we met the owner of the castle. Wonderful lady. She's an American, been there, I think, 15 years now, and she gave us the guided tour of the castle, which is just steeped in history and Masonic history. And
okay, we've only got a very short time now.
Okay, and as we were chatting with her, we told her about our last trip and apologized, and she accepted the apology. And then as we were talking about where's the white cat at, she looked at us and said,
"Oh shit! No!
Stop!
Stop!
She asked a few more nuances, and we described the cat further. She said that cat has been dead since 2001. That was her kitten.
Fuck.
And we were kind of aghast at that point. Now, a year later, we've taken our digital photos and look at it, and you can see 2 apparitions of a cat and orbs floating everywhere.
I haven't. Okay, thank you very much. I haven't made up my mind about orbs. On the other hand, they're unusual. I mean, most people would, in photography, would say these are, you know, lens flashes, and everybody knows if you get the sun in the lens, you're going to see a whole bunch of different suns. And these are
that was like fucking one of the hardest parts I've ever had to read. What the fuck is this?
It's been picked up in some photography where it really may be the spirit or a spirit or something like that, because there's absolutely nothing to do that to the lens. So orbs, I don't know, they're kind of in my gray basket, but some of them are kind of eerie. You're on the air, Ghost to Ghost, AM05. Hi.
Art Bell?
Yes.
Hello, this is Juan from Pleasanton, Texas.
Yes.
To talk to you. I just wanted to say something about the year 2012.
Yes.
If you look in the Bible in verse 2012.
No, I don't generally allow verse reading.
On your own time, read it.
On your own time, read it, and you learn it. Holy fuck.
Right?
Oh, yes.
What he means, well, I'm sure.
As a matter of fact, yes.
You have?
I have. They're very unusual, but they do exist. Naturally. I mean, it happens. Like you get people with 6 fingers. It does happen. So there's nothing necessarily ghostly about that. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Michael calling you from Seattle. I'm actually a Portlander, and pleasure to talk to you again. I've talked to you many years ago.
I'm glad you're back.
Well, thank you.
He doesn't remember you fucking dipshit, but anyways.
In 1977, actually, I had just rented a lovely
I'm just saying that because the way the guy said
cozy
thank you,
little,
like he expected him to remember him. Like,
duplex.
the guy talks to like fucking probably hundreds of thousands of people before he passed away.
The third night that I was there, just settling in, first I sensed this entity behind me as I walked into, I was going in and out of my little place, and it was evening, and I sensed first, and I figured, well, maybe I'm wrong about this. I sensed a very tall being, and I actually turned around and I addressed him, and it was a male. I knew somehow
Well, this
it was
might
a
still
male.
help anyways. Fuck.
And I said, and I greeted him and told him I was no harm. I would do no harm to him, and he was welcome in my home.
Do you mean sensed in the sense that somebody's in the room with you, or
Yes, I sensed that somebody had walked into the door, and he was right there in my little place. Well, I didn't think much of it after that, and I was doing some things, and finally I got ready for bed, and I went to sleep. And I swear to God, this story is true, and I swear on my my own father's memory. About
Well, calm the fuck down, buddy. Okay.
People were taken out.
We believe you. Holy shit! Like,
I was sound asleep. All of a sudden, the house had these beautiful little French windows that opened in. You had to open the window in to get air into the room.
Sure.
And this was February, and it was very cold. A particularly cold night.
Oh shit.
And all of a sudden, the pull shades on both at the same time just went up. And when you pull on those old-fashioned shades and you let go, they go up really fast.
Yes.
And that's what happened. They each went up. It was almost simultaneous. It was kind of like bam, bam, like that. Yeah. And that woke me right up.
That would do it.
Yeah, that'll do it all right. And then I watched each latch work. I watched the latches work, and I saw each of those windows one at a time opening up, opening into the room.
Oh.
And then, of course, and the wind was blowing, and these lace curtains that were on the windows, they were going.
By now, I'd be running.
I tell you, I did not sleep, obviously. I did not sleep the rest of that night. It was
How many yards
I
are going
knew
on?
that it was taking its leave. It was exiting my life, and for some reason, I just knew that it didn't really either like me or relate to me or whatever.
Well, you still didn't get back to sleep, though.
Pardon?
You still didn't get back to sleep, though.
Oh, that's for sure. I was up the rest of that night. Yeah, the windows opened up. They just opened
by themselves.
All by themselves. I watched the latch turn. I saw the windows opening, and afterwards I did talk to there were two gentlemen living there before me, and I said, you have a ghost, or you had a ghost, or I had a ghost anyway, and they said, oh yes. And I said, well, why didn't you tell me? They said, because we thought, that would really scare you, and we just figured it would probably be okay one way or the other.
Uh-huh.
So that's my story.
And a good story it is. I appreciate the call, sir. Thank you. I wouldn't want to see anything move by itself. Not at all. And if you actually saw that, I think that, well, again, it would be a great way to know that your heart is in great condition. Especially, those, as he described, those old shades. You remember those? You let go of them, they go right up. But then the latches, you might make your way past that one. But the latches moving and the windows then going up by themselves, no. First time caller line, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, what's your first name?
That would be trippy. I'd be like, no,
I'm calling
no
from
thank you.
Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Excellent.
And I listen to you on WHBY 1150 AM.
And my nipples are hard.
And
I'm joking.
I had emailed you.
Sorry.
With it was just 3 little stories about how I was raised in a haunted house. I will tell you the first incident, and it actually was the most frightening, even though I don't think you ever really get used to that kind of thing when it happens.
What happened?
Well, I was just a little girl, and I'm figuring
let's
out
hear it,
it's about
sweetie. Come on.
1959. I was raised in this house, and we kept this house until my father died in 1980. So I need to let you know that my father worked during the day. He was a painting contractor, and my mother worked second shift at
Come on, baby.
So
Drop right in the fucking hole. That'd be oh, holy shit.
At night.
Way too much.
And I'm about 7 years old. I'm getting ready for bed.
Yeah.
I'm in my bedroom. My father's in the kitchen, and we had finished dinner, and he's washing the dishes. And I can still remember my little fingers pushing these buttons of my pajamas through the buttonholes as I hear, Donna. And without even thinking, I just said yes. And again, Donna. Well, then I thought it was somebody hiding under my bed. I'm a little girl. What do you think?
Yeah, about that. Maybe somebody's hiding under the bed.
The bed. And not
Come
a
on,
month
baby.
ago, I just figured it was a kid, like my niece or something, but these thoughts
That
are
was
coming
close.
as quickly as what you could even think them. And so I think there's somebody under the bed, but I know there's no one there. And then I hear Donna. Now I look to my bedroom window because
Donna.
all the kids in our neighborhood,
Neighborhood.
we all got together and played until the sun set, and things were different back then.
That's awesome.
What they are now. And
Oh, poor
we
Lena.
would talk to each other through the open windows at night if one could be out later than the other or whatever.
You sure I remember?
And I looked to the window.
Oh, this poor lady. She could tell she
and
misses
I am
that so
wearing
much.
flannel pajamas. So now I start thinking, no, it's cold outside and there's no one there. And before I can even get that thought out of my head, this voice says to me, Donna, don't be afraid. I just want to talk to you.
Uh-huh.
And with that, I became so afraid. I remember opening my mouth, but no sound came out. I tried to scream so hard, and no sound could come out. I was paralyzed with fear.
Well, sure. The moment something tells you don't be afraid, your reaction is going to be, I've got something to be afraid of.
finally, when the voice came out, my father came running to me, and he comforted me, but he really didn't even know what to say. I know that he and my mother had talked about it after that, and then, of course, there were other incidences in that house, and as I grew older, then my father would start to talk to me about how he had experienced things just like that in this house. But the thing that, and I've tried to analyze this, and listening to your programs, I'm wondering now if what I experienced there in that room that night
Ah, you
was maybe a
motherfucker,
sort
man.
of
What the
time
hell
travel.
with these fucking
because I
greens?
refuse to sleep in that room ever again.
Certainly one of the things, thank you very much, that you can't rule out about these incidents. And that is that it is some sort of time travel, some sort of portal, some sort of accidental entry into some other realm. That certainly is a possibility, but then again, so many of these things seem to be personalized. You know, as in a relative coming back to let you know that they're okay. Or even the children.
Booyah!
But occasionally, these stories, you know, they don't make sense in terms of any contemporary reason for a contact. And so it could be some sort of slip, some sort of entry into some other realm or dimension, accidental or whatever. And that might account for some of these things. Wildcard Line, you're on the air. Good morning.
All right.
Hi.
Hi, this is Linda calling from Houston, Texas.
Hey, Linda.
And my story, it has to do with what you were just talking about. This was back in 1957, and I grew up in a small town not too far from Roswell, New Mexico.
Right.
It was in Texas, and we would always vacation in Cloudcroft, New Mexico.
Sounds like a nice lady.
It's kind of up in the mountains, and it looks down on the White Sands missile range. And I can remember we used to go and watch them fire off the Sidewinder missiles.
Oh, what a neat place, yeah.
It was really neat. And so we were up on vacation. I was with my friend, and I was about 12 years old at the time, and we were walking out in the piney woods, and we saw this cabin, and it had a window that was a little bit open on the bottom, and we didn't see any cars around. So being kids, we opened the window and crawled down into the basement, and we didn't hear anybody, and I was attracted to a piano, so I went over and lifted the piano bench, and I was looking at the music, and it had music like the Andrews Sisters from World War II, and it had like Spring Miller Orchestra, and I thought, well, this is funny, all this music is from the 40s. So I went over into a closet, and there was like a leather sports jacket from the 40s and a prom dress.
What a fucking idiot.
Went into the living room, and on the coffee table were these papers, newspapers describing World War II. And I got to thinking, this is so strange. And I just looked around, and there was nothing from the 50s. No, you know, rock music or Elvis music or any other papers. And
my God, so it is what we were talking about. It's kind of like you slipped into another time, sort of accidentally or somehow. Everything was from some other time.
But it was not like dusty. At first I thought, well, maybe the family had just left the vacation home and been killed or hurt in an accident and never returned, but everything looked shiny and new. And I went into the kitchen, and there was like a small light on in the stove and like a coffee cup.
Yes.
And there was a medicine bottle, and I looked on it, and it was dated 1943.
Wow.
And the hair just stood up on my neck, and I said, we've got to get out of here. I was just freaked out, so we crawled back out, and we were afraid to tell anybody because, you know, we went into the house, we didn't take anything, but later on, looking back at it, it was like stepping into a different time.
You know, I sometimes wonder, there are a lot of people in this world that just go missing. I mean, they're just never heard from again, no bodies ever found, you know, they just go missing. There are many, many, many cases like that, and you've got to wonder if occasionally somebody like yourself has an experience like you had, except doesn't come back.
Well, in kind of analyzing this, looking back on it, my father was in he was an Army airman, and he helped work on the timing device that dropped the atomic bomb.
No kidding.
And he was killed in August of 1945 before I was born. I was born in December of 1945. And I always wished that I could have met my father or known him or been around him. And looking back on it, I think maybe that was sort of a way for him to show me how things might have been had I been there when he was there.
Well, that might be a leap on your part, or not.
It took me a long time to kind of come to that conclusion, but I thought maybe I had gone back in time to try and see how things might have been back then.
Did you ever, well, you have no way of knowing. If you had embraced it and stayed, maybe you would have remained in that time.
Fuck.
And you wouldn't be here talking to me right now.
That's what scared me the most. I had to get out of there because I could sense that really might happen.
That was rough. Oh, man.
Good morning, everybody.
I got an itchy nose.
It's your program, and therefore directly to
Fuck,
the
man,
lines
I'm...
we go.
Look at that prick. Minus 18.
Line, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hello, Art.
Hello, sir.
Hi. Yeah.
What is your first name and where are you?
Okay, my name is Michael, and I'm from Vancouver, Washington, and I was in the middle of telling you about my story. I was in the shower, and I heard these children start to laugh.
Yes.
And you know what was weird about it was they waited until I had my head soaked.
Your most
shampoo,
vulnerable moment. I know exactly what
When
you're
he's
saying.
shampooing.
You got suds all over you, and now it gets loud. There's lots of kids.
And the thing was, it was like it fed on my fear because my heart started racing, and the more scared I got, the louder it got. And so I started, the only way to deal with it was I started singing. And as soon as I got washed off, man, I was out of there. I ran. What it was just quite a...
You are the first person who has ever dealt with something like this that I've talked to by singing. What did you sing?
I was just singing some praise tunes that we normally did at church camp.
I've got it. All right. Well, thank you very much. So there
You can just write some off. Oh, I got it. Don't worry about it.
Save the song, I guess.
Like I'd ever wear those pants. Come on.
It's bothersome to me, and I know to the EVP people, that so many of these stories seem to involve the very young and children. Somehow
Holy
we just
shit.
don't want to think that they...
I could try and finish the last two rounds here. That'd be 36 holes, man.
Passing, but
And I just shot 36 holes.
It should be said, a disproportionate number
I think, right? What is that? Or 35, sorry.
and these stories that we're hearing tonight involve
Oh no, that's a par 70.
young children. The universe just can't be that cruel, can it? Wildcard Line, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Art. How are you?
I'm quite well, thank you. What is your first name and where are you?
My name is Peggy, and I'm in Rochester, New York.
All right, Peggy.
Well, I've got a real exciting and some tragic information here.
Okay.
In 1977, my ex-husband's wife shot and killed her 2 children, and then killed herself. He and I were the data processing department for a major mail order company in Tucson.
Yes.
And I had known his wife and children because I'd bring my children and my date to play cards with them. And we would just, for hours sit there and have fun. My children would play with his while we played cards.
Yes.
About a year after the tragedy, through sympathizing with him and because I worked with him, I fell in love with him.
Of course.
We married about a year later, and since his home was larger than mine, me and my children moved into his home.
Sure.
Of course.
Subsequently, we had 2 burglaries, and
Fuck is
then
this?
had a burglar alarm installed. He was traveling to Sierra Vista and Fort Huachuca on a weekly basis with his job for the city there, and he'd be gone about 5 days a week, and this went on for months. After we put the burglar alarm on, he was gone, and each night he was gone at exactly 2 a.m.
It would
no
go.
later. Our burglar alarm would go off. When responding, the police couldn't find any entry. even the burglar alarm company had reviewed the system many, many times.
Right.
And I don't know if you're familiar with Arizona. You can have your window open because of your swamp cooler.
Right.
About 1.5 inches, 2 inches max.
Right.
And still have your system operational.
Absolutely.
Well, anyway, both the police and the alarm company would have it set so that the window was open and try to set that alarm off. It would not go off for them. Now, mind you, while this was going on, each time the alarm went off, I had trained my children to immediately run to my room, lay down next to the bed, and I had a .357 Magnum underneath my pillow that I would point toward the hallway, the bedroom door.
A .357 Magnum.
A .357 Magnum.
Okay.
And I didn't even know how to shoot a gun.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, I was so terrified after, this happened, I would say 20, 30 times.
Oh, God. Is it your presumption that these children and this or this woman who had killed them and then committed suicide was coming back to the house? I mean, is that where we're going here?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because I would hear, when my children were at school, I would hear children's whispering coming from the kids' rooms.
Right.
And I would find things like the flour would be in the refrigerator, the milk would be in the pantry. I would put things down and I'd turn around to get them and they weren't there and I'd go crazy looking for them. I think this was the kids kind of playing.
Yeah, I've got it. These shows end up scaring me every damn time. And this is really doing it for me. Already I see this theme, and here you are again with children, and what a tragedy. Well, did it ever all end, or is this something that's just going on and on?
Well, after months and months of this, and the police responding, one of the policemen pulled me aside. And he said, "Lady, if I were you, I would not spend another night in this house."
Really?
Because he had responded on numerous occasions with this situation. Well, I told my husband, I said, "Look, it's either me or the house." We bought a home the next day and moved out. The entire 3 years that we were there, it would be 110 degrees in the middle of summer, and my living room, I get goosebumps and the hair raises on my arms.
So you were driven from the house?
Yes, I was driven from the house. That house would be like an ice box in the middle of summer. Just the one room. And I could always...
this is something you must have talked over with your husband.
Yes.
Many times. And so by the end of this, you were both absolutely convinced what was going on. Do you think that these spirits stayed with the home when you moved? It all stopped?
No, it did not stop. As a matter of fact, 6 months after we moved out, the new owner telephoned us very late at night, and I would guess around midnight. And he asked my husband if he was the original owner of the home. And we knew exactly why he was asking.
Yeah. I've heard that when you go to sell a house with the kind of activity that you had, you're actually legally, responsible to tell the person, maybe in California or just some states, I'm not sure, that it is a haunted house.
I don't believe we were at that time.
They're fucking shady. They just want to sell their house.
Yeah, I think now in some places, anyway, you actually have to tell them it's haunted. That's how serious this is. So, is it all resolved now, or what?
He's actually kind of pissed off.
No, I don't think it's resolved. Something happened subsequent to that. Did you get my email earlier?
I got your email.
Okay. Subsequent to that, in 1985, my daughter ran away from home. And she called me about 2 weeks later and proceeded to tell me that my ex-husband had been molesting her.
Holy shit.
It just gets worse and worse.
It was right then and there that all of a sudden it hit me. There was no motive until that moment. for this murder-suicide. And
Wow.
my feeling is that she was trying to get me out of that house.
Clearly.
Me and my children away from him. I believe she killed her children because she could not leave them with him.
Oh, that's incredible.
And she could not herself deal with the situation emotionally.
Well,
So I believe that this man has blood on his hands, and I could not get the police department to listen to me on it.
well, you sure got one to tell you to get the hell out, though. Thank you very, very much for the story. So many of these hauntings seem to have some kind of tragedy, instant, some horrible accident or suicide associated with them. Could it be, of course, we frequently speculate that souls are held here on Earth or in some kind of purgatory when it's something like what was just described. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I've been listening, and we've had quite a few incidents happen, and there was one that just happened recently, and it really sort of worried me, but we'd gone through the hurricane, and I had been up all night, going through
hold on. What is your first name?
Sharon.
Sharon, and where are you?
Oh, hold on. Calm the fuck down here, lady.
Yeah. And so I had laid down finally that morning, to get some sleep. And so I woke up, and my bedroom door was shut. And all of a sudden I look, and it's like I had some clothes hanging on the back of it, and somebody was pulling the dress away from the door like they were looking at it. That's what was really strange.
Huh.
And so anyway, later I went to the washroom. I was going to decide to do some clothes, and so do some wash. And so I opened the washer, and there inside the washer was 3 stems of leather-leaf fern inside my washing machine.
Really?
And I'm saying, oh my God, then I knew what had happened. My mother was a real dress nut. She used to make us dresses all the time when we were young.
Yes.
And so she was a fernery. She had started the leather-leaf fern business. And so anyway, I have her fern here.
Huh.
And so I think is what she was trying to let me know, that it was her that was here with me during the storm. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. Yes.
And then another incident, my husband had gone up on the
Never
roof
know.
after a hurricane one year. And so when he was trying to come back off the roof, the ladder was there, but the ladder kept moving back and forth. And so he couldn't figure out what was making the ladder move. And so anyway, he starts to come down, and he falls backwards. And he hits the tree, and he comes down the concrete and hits his head, cracks his whole head open. And anyway, we end up getting him on rescue. He dies on the way to the hospital.
Oh, my God.
He's dead for about an hour. He comes back, and anyway, we find out later this girl had come to the house to visit, and she brought a friend of hers with her, and she happened to be from the Cherokee tribe. Anyway, she was psychic.
Oh, whoops. Okay, that's
and she
it.
said,
Okay.
there's somebody in this house. There's a spirit in this house. And so she goes to start to me, says, there was an accident not too long ago. And I said, yeah. She said,
Wait a minute, slow up. You don't die for an hour.
He was dead for an hour, and he came back. He was sent back.
No, you don't.
Yeah, he was. They verify. I mean, I was on the radio.
No,
They
you
were
don't.
listening off with the hell. I was in the office there with Mercy, and
Are you saying that he was declared dead?
Yeah, he was declared. Yeah, they said patient just died, and so I went back there, and they said he was dead for right at an hour on the way to the hospital, all the way from where we were at. To, they had to go to another place because it was storming. They had to go to another place.
Well, that alone is just absolutely astounding.
Well, I know it's happened to a lot of people I know, but anyway, she was telling me. She said, "Well, I'm going to tell you who this was or why this accident happened." And she starts to describe this young man, and then she tells us that it was my brother-in-law. He was trying to warn my husband not to get on the ladder because my husband didn't know, so he put the wrong end of the ladder down. He had the rounded end instead of the flat end.
Oh.
He was trying to warn him not to get on the ladder.
And that's why the ladder was shaking.
Yeah. And so anyway, he said Jim was trying to save his life. That's my brother-in-law.
Got it.
And so anyway, then she says, Paula, he's standing right behind you. We were sitting at the counter in the kitchen and the sink and all that's right behind me. And she said, Paula, and she described it to a T. He was standing there making himself coffee. right behind me. And I went, oh my God. And so then another incident happened with my father-in-law. And my grandchildren were here, and one of them turns around and looks at me and says, who's that old man walking across the yard to the shed? And so I went, oh my God. So I showed her a picture. I said, is this him? She said, yeah, that was my father-in-law. And I mean, we've had so many incidents. Like my grandchild, he showed up after he passed away.
All right, well, it seems to, thank you very much, run in the family then. Anybody out there watching the show Medium? It's kind of interesting, actually. I believe they ran 3 in a row this night. It's the story of Alison Dubois. Alison Dubois lives down in Phoenix. She's a real person. I'm trying to get an interview with her, by the way. I'm working on that, even if I have to do it during the day and tape it or something. God, I really want to interview Alison Dubois. But in the show Medium, she frequently has, what you just heard, encounters actually seeing a person who is dead in trying to resolve some kind of situation, ongoing tragic
Alright.
murder.
Well, I gotta eat supper here.
She works
I don't know, I've been streaming for quite a while.
Anyway, it's a pretty good show, so if you haven't
I was
seen
on Twitch
it,
earlier
it's
for a
something
couple
you might
hours.
wanna check out, and I certainly would be interested
Back and
in
forth,
interviewing,
back and forth.
Mrs. Dubois. Imagine that. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Oh, shit. Holy fuck, it's 12:30. Yeah, I'm gonna get something to eat, man, and rest for the night and go to work tomorrow, so I hope you have a good evening. Thanks for coming by, I appreciate you. Click at the clack, one love and all that.